Good evening, gentlemen. This is Sir Yeetus, and welcome to episode 118 of Sir Yeetus' Thoughts. Right now, I believe something needs to be addressed because, of course, we've been dealing with the name calling and stuff all these years when it comes to being a bachelor. But right now, it's getting all too common that we're being compared to extremists. And we need to make a video where we need to clarify what the Warband is, what MGTOW is, what Red Pill is, or whatever it is, in order to make sense of the situation. Because the audacity of these people, when we are here as men, majority of men, are here to tell the truth. We're trying to tell the truth about the situation, about the dating dynamics, about women in general, about their bad behavior and decisions. They want to compare us to domestic terrorists. They want to compare us to something that's extreme. Oh yeah, we're about to get into this very quickly. But before I start, if you want to support your boy, go ahead and donate to paypal.me/Yeetus, or you can go ahead and donate like simple endeavors right now. Yeetus, don't hold back on speaking truth. Oh, believe me, I'm definitely not going to hold back. This is something that's very important because holy fuck, holy shit. If we're not kissing ass like these other channels such as Rallo Tomasi, such as Fed and Fraud, or whatever those channels are, if you're not kissing women's ass when it comes to the situation, right? Bringing on all these skanky 304s into our channels so they can speak their truth, all of a sudden we're extremists. Just think on that, gentlemen. Oh, and Undead Chronic, you know, he's invading once again. Puniti. What's going on, man? We're gonna get started very soon. You know, once again, if you want to donate, it's either anything that you can bring, whether it's donating to PayPal, donating to Super Chat, or you just watching my channel so you can absorb the knowledge. That's all that matters to me. I don't give a shit. I really don't. But the fact that you have your eyes on my channel, you took time out of your day to watch what I have to say, I definitely appreciate it 1,000,000%. I really don't give a shit as long as you listen. All right, let me bring in the one, the only Gray. What's going on, man?
Evening, Warband.
And I'm going to be bringing in that guy, Pete, that you refuse to bring to gatherings. What's going on, man?
What's going on, Yee? What's going on, Gray? Hope you're both doing well.
I'm doing phenomenal. Oh, I'm doing great on a Tuesday. How's life for you, Gray, so far? What's going on, man?
A lot of chaos, a lot of busyness. It's kind of the same. It's the same it's been for the past couple of weeks, really.
I see what you're saying. What about you, Pete?
I mean, not much. I mean, I just got back to work today from a 4-day weekend. So, putting out videos. Last week, I did an interview with Stardust, so that was pretty cool. He had me on his channel. So, I mean, other than that, it's been kind of slow, but, you know, hanging in.
He told me you were a big fan of Stardust.
Oh yeah. Me and Stardust, we have a lot in common. He's a cool guy to talk to.
I'm surprised he hasn't come onto the channel yet. One day.
Yeah,
One day.
hopefully.
Well, I don't even know how to contact him. But I'll figure it out. One day I'll be able to bring Stardust onto the channel, because I think I personally believe Stardust, that guy Pete Gray, and hell, hopefully TFM, TFM, he should be coming on this week. That would be an ultimate conversation when it comes to the Black Pill. I honestly believe that will be a plethora of knowledge or perspectives when it comes to the
Yeah,
Black
they
Pill.
definitely both have interesting things to say about it. That's for sure.
Yeah, I think that it will be very important for the audience to hear about, because once again, when it comes to the red pill, when it comes to MGTOW or whatever it is, there is no one right answer. I know the foundation is cemented, but after that, there's plenty of other definitions or perspective of that definition.
Exactly. The information is what it is. What you do with it, that's your business.
Exactly. I'm still not a fan of people trying to, constantly like push their agenda, like trying to shove it down their throat. Well, we're gonna be dealing with that tomorrow, so it's gonna be very interesting if you guys know what I'm talking about. When it comes to the conversation today, I want to start with Gray, and then I'm gonna go with Pete. Gray, what is your perspective on incel?
So much of it depends on who's using it and why. When it's used as like an insult, it is a straight up shaming tactic. But it's become the new virgin. But it's saying virgin in a way that it applies to non-virgins as well, because like an incel isn't just one who can't, like, has never gotten with a woman, but one who currently can't get with a woman. And the implication of incel being, oh, your attitude, the things you say, that is why a woman does not want to touch your pee-pee.
Said pee-pee.
Dude, that just made me think. That just made me think of Zohan. One pee touch.
But that's exactly the thing. It's like it's a way of trying to control behavior by. That's the thing. It's like it's trying to gatekeep pussy psychologically. It's like you won't get pussy if you keep that attitude.
You mean puniti?
Correct. Puniti. You won't get puniti if you keep that attitude. If you keep saying those things. But of course, it's not as though the person's saying like, oh, well, you will if you don't. No, it's just a one-way shame. And then there's, of course, the ones who self-identify as incels. And that is an entire other ball of wax. Because if we're being completely honest, there are very few men who could not get laid with a decent amount of cash, like a couple dozen to maybe a couple $100, and some very low standards.
Okay. I see what you're saying, bro. But
then this is where the incels get interested, because when you bring that up to them, what I found is then they start saying, well, no, it's not just about the gash, it's about the relationship. They want to feel the love.
Yes.
And the problem is that may not be something that exists. They may just straight up have a fantasy of an ideal relationship that they've seen in movies that's as unrealistic as 666 Chad, if not more unrealistic.
okay, Pete, What's
You know,
your intake on incels?
well, probably the easiest way to get the information. I mean, there is a dedicated wiki, the Incel Wiki, that I have visited regularly, where they break out all these terms and things like this. But the basic gist is that an incel is someone who has been making a conscious effort, not to be confused with someone who's just complaining and not even trying, right? This is someone who has made a conscious effort repeatedly to get the type of puniti that you do not pay for, the kind that is grounded in respect, admiration, and desire. That is, she actually wants to do it, right? They can't get this. And there are a myriad of reasons why that could be. Maybe they don't pass the basic looks test. Maybe because they're short, like too short, like 5'2". Maybe because they are on the spectrum and they're neurologically divergent, and thus that makes them socially awkward. There are so many reasons why a person can be an incel. But the reality is the theme is the same, that they cannot get intimacy of any stripe, be it companionship or physical. So that obviously is problematic for someone who really wants that connection in life. And because, especially like Gray pointed out, a lot of these incels, they tend to be virgin, which means they never got it out of their system, so to speak. We often say that it's a rite of passage. And that will mess you up psychologically. It will. But unfortunately, what we also tend to see in the black pill space is a lot of normies who never even tried. They never even made the effort, and then they claim inceldom. And even amongst incels themselves, they have a term for that. It's called a fake cell. It's somebody where if they really did try, they probably could get something. And I don't think that genuine incels are disillusioned about the fact that a normie, like a red pill prescription, works for a normie. Just as a blue pill one, a Chad can afford that, right? So the point is, there is a class of men that, like, legitimately, like, no matter what they do, there is an overwhelming majority of women that just consider them light speed ugly, and they just cannot operate in a Western market. So their only choices are possibly, to change their appearance, or, leave the country, or, as Turd Flinging Monkey likes to say, there's no such thing as an incel if they got a couple $100. But again, the problem there is that, again, as Gray pointed out, you're not getting legitimate companionship there. And you are putting this idea of love. And I think, a good way to aptly put it perhaps is where they're in love with the idea of being in love, but they don't really know what it entails because they never experienced it. But when you kind of look at it more realistically, we know that people are capable of respecting one another. We know people are capable of admiring one another and desiring one another. So perhaps that might be more closer to a realistic analog of what's actually attainable. But for incels, legitimately, it's not on the table for them. It's not in the cards. And I think if you go and talk to incels, even they get frustrated. Equally so when normies act like they're incels too, just as people in the red pill space look at it like, bro, you're being a nihilist. It's like, stop. It's like, that's not, you don't have these cards. Stop acting like you have these cards to justify inaction and things like this. So it is a fine line. It is a fine line for sure. But the short answer is that incels is probably like a minority of people. It's an increasing problem, but it's still relatively a minority of men compared to a majority, where it's just like the mating pool has collectively just ousted them. But that's the long and short of what an incel is.
Well, and that's kind of where I have issue with the term that way. Because an incel is like, well, I could get laid, but I want more than that. It's like, okay, well, then you're not an incel. Involuntary celibate means that you want to get laid, but you are completely incapable of. If you're like, well, I could, but I want more than just the puniti, okay, then you're a volcel. You just have standards. And
sure. And there even is a term, like if your standards are a reason why you can't get laid, standard cell. So perhaps maybe it would be more accurate to say that a lot of these incels are standard cells. But I think if you talk to most incels, when they're saying involuntary celibate, what they're talking about is getting a type of connection that's grounded in something that doesn't involve cash, like in the sense, like just like raw cash for puniti. You know what I mean? Like we're not talking about like the fact that relationships in general are transactional to some degree. We're not talking about that. So I think incels would concede and understand what you're saying. Yes. But just understand that intention matters. What they mean by what they say matters. I'm just telling you that this is what they mean. This is what they mean when they say incel. But if you want to say like, hey, they even have a term. Like if you're the guy, like your solution is just to go and deal with a bunch of, professionals. They call that escort cell. That's what they call that, where it's like, hey, I can't get it the traditional way. So the way I deal with it is I just crack out my wallet, I pay, I get it out of my system, and that's it. So they do have terminology for that. And I think if you go to the Incel Wiki and you just check it out, just like, for shits and gigs, you got a cup of coffee, you got nothing else going on, just read some of the stuff. Some of it's going to make you roll your eyes like, ugh, because the jargon. But some of it, you're going to look at it and be like, all right, I think I kind of understand the psyche of these people a little bit more. That's what worked for me.
Yeah, no, like the psyche is one thing. I'm taking issue with the names because like anything sells like that. That's where it's just gotten frustrating because it's not sell. It's like, okay, like let's say, standard cell. Yeah, you're standard celibate. Like, what? Okay, involuntary celibate, that makes sense as a phrase, as a name, as an identifier. Vol cell, voluntary celibate. Okay, that makes sense. Standard cell, escort cell, escort celibate, standard celibate. Like,
right. So sometimes, again, based on the terminology, sometimes the suffix could mean celibate, but sometimes the prefix might just mean like a certain lifestyle choice. Sometimes it could, but more often than not, it could mean the reason. I'll throw you for another loop here again, which is why I'm saying like you shouldn't look at the terminology like you should like etymologically speaking, like a dictionary. They have a term for women, CC writers, in particular, where they can get laid, but they can't get a relationship. They're called rom cells, right? Rom for romantic. They can get pumped and dumped by Chad, but they can't get a commitment, right? But you would think by looking at that word, it's like, but it ends in cell, but she's not celibate. So that doesn't make sense etymologically speaking. And yet this is the term that they have to describe it. So that's kind of what happens when you kind of have your own lexicon. That's not really, it's not, I can't tell you it's grounded in logic because it isn't. I'm just telling you what the terminology is.
And I recognize the terminology. It's just frustrating because then the very definitions of the words are constantly changing and fluid. And like when a woman calls a man an incel or a feminist calls a man an incel, they're not saying, oh, you can't get a loving, caring relationship. No, they're just saying you can't get laid, period.
Well, yes, because women, again, they don't understand what an actual incel is because they don't care what an incel is. So here's what they know, though. They know that people that are MGTOW, they know that men who are red pill, they know that if they throw that word at you, yeah. How you
Hold up. Hold up. All right, relax. I want to ask this question because I already know it's going to lead to the next question I was trying to ask. But, you guys are going on this philosophical, like, college professor level. And I fucking love it. But the next question is, how does society look at incels? Like, what's your definition? How do they perceive incels? Society.
You want to take it first, Greg?
Well, it's the funny thing is there's not really a huge.
I got plenty.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. It's like I can rattle off how they view them, like how society views an incel, but at the end of the day, an incel is just a man that they disapprove of.
Correct. Like, they get basically collectively ejected from the mating pool. Like it's just like no matter how hard they try, they just can't get a mate. Barring like buying professionals and things like this.
No, simpler than that. No, I'm talking about how society views them. Like society is just a man that they disapprove of. Like, because again, like Hammerhand, a grandfather. You have men who have contributed to the mating pool and passed on their legacy multiple generations,
right?
Getting called incel.
Correct, which is what I was getting at before. What I was getting at before is that women don't fully understand the term. All they know is that if they call you that, it pisses you off. That's all they know. So they just hit the button. That's what they do. But I would say if you're going to just say like, well, what's their perception of incels? They're completely indifferent to incels. Incels used to be the cannon fodder of the past in the wars. That's what they were, because it's like, all right, no, nothing's lost here. But now it's like we don't really have wars where we're sending them to die. So now they're kind of like hanging out here, and it's like it's rough. But yeah, it's like, we always kind of jokingly say that, the average man is invisible to women. It's like, no, you don't know what invisibility is. Like, it can get a lot worse.
No, but that's where it's like they're invisible in the sense that, like, a hammer is invisible. Like, an incel is a tool to be like kept in a box, out of sight, out of mind, and then used until it breaks when the time comes.
I would
Like,
argue that
the
that's how they
only
view
reason,
us.
like the only reason that they don't straight up want the incels dead is because they still see that like it's a resource to be used.
Yeah, I guess that's true. But I would argue that that's kind of more how they look at us, like normies, like average guys. I think that's how they look at a lot of us, like as utilities. The guy that comes in and cleans up the mess when the CC ride is over. I think the incels, they kind of look at it like that's an absolute last resort.
I see.
But that's the thing, but that's the difference. Like, people that they call incel, and then there's the self-identified incels. Those are not the same groups of people.
Correct.
I
Like,
see
the
incels
people
as
that they call incel is just any
No. I
normie
see.
that doesn't bend the knee.
I see incels invisible. They're
Yeah.
worse than the average man.
Because you have to
never-
remember that women don't know what an incel actually is. You try to explain it to them, and they don't even want to hear it.
They will never be looked at ever, right? And if they do, it's a fucking miracle, right? It's one thing that is average man, but the guys that are clearly are unable, like they got dealt one of the worst genetic lotteries, or they're very antisocial, so they can't communicate with women that well, etc. They will be treated, how do I say, more invisible than the average man.
Like, and that's the problem here. Like, we're using this one word, incel, but who it describes changes entirely depending on who says it and in what context.
Yeah, but women's opinion on it is irrelevant because they don't know what the hell it is.
But if
Yeah,
we ask,
women, they
well,
say-
how does society see incels? We need to define, okay, is this incel as defined by society, or is this incel as defined by the people who self-identify as incels? And even
Right.
then, are we talking about the incels who cannot get laid, or the incels who are actually standard cells but are just using the term incel as a catch-all to describe themselves?
Correct.
So
And there's
we
terminology
wanna
for this.
talk about incels, about society, and also about the people that self-identifies, okay?
Mhm.
Because when it comes to incels in society, what society deems them as incels is only if you disagree or if you call out any women out on their bad behaviors or decisions. That's gotten
Correct.
to the point in 2022, right? You can be a fucking Chad or Tyrone and be called an incel just so that she can feel good about herself,
Correct.
validate her own feelings, so
Mhm.
she doesn't have to face her consequences in the sense of, I pretty much fucked up my initial situation on getting with a good man. I rode the carousel for all these years, and now I'm in my early to mid 30s, and nobody takes me seriously anymore. No man takes me seriously
Yeah.
and whenever a man calls me out, like, all right, like, why are you in your mid to late 30s and you don't even have a man yet? Why do you have a child or why do you have two children by two different dads? Incel.
Correct.
What? What the fuck? That doesn't even make any sense. That's not what incel means.
Correct. Usually, whenever someone tries to use a shaming tactic, I just reply, "Do you even know what an incel is?" And then they usually stop replying. That's usually how it goes.
Exactly. They don't even know what
Because
the
they
fuck
don't.
it means.
The wiki's available. You can go and read it. I used to be someone that like totally ignored Black Pill, but then I started reading it, and it's like they have all the information. You could go and read it. It tells you exactly what they mean, what the words mean, and then you could talk semantics like, well, I don't think from an etymological standpoint it's whatever. Okay, fine, but I'm just saying that's what the words mean. But I mean, obviously, the mainstream blue pill society is going to get the terms wrong because their lives are so good that, like, by comparison, easier. Why would they ever investigate this stuff? It's people looking for answers that are going to investigate this stuff.
So what do you have to say about that, Gray?
I mean, if we're going to be like, well, this community that has gathered around the wiki has defined these terms with the wiki. But if we're going to have a discussion on like, well, how does incel fit into this, that, or the other, we got to at least have our own terms here for the sake of this, because otherwise we're going to spend every question arguing about which incel are we talking about.
Oh no, just a guy that's unable to have
Right.
sex. It's not his fault.
Okay, that's the thing. So we are talking for the purposes of this discussion, we are not talking about guys who want a romantic validation relationship. We're talking about like the guys who could not get laid, period, despite their best efforts. Even a prostitute would turn them down because it's not worth it.
Well,
But
that's even worse than an incel. Like even if a professional will take your money, that's even worse.
But that's the thing. That would be the literal definition of incel, where you cannot get laid, period.
There's a term for that too.
Hold on. The big thing is hold up. The big thing is we're comparing what the actual definition is, and compared to what society is trying to deem men in general, right? Like they just throwing out incel like it's rapid fire. Like you will latch incel into a light machine gun. That's pretty much what it is. Anybody that disagrees with the ideology, whether it's a fucking 304 or single mother, wherever it is, anybody that disagrees with their decisions that they made in their life, they're quick.
Yes, but then by that definition, every red pill man is an incel.
I know,
but that's not true because a lot of those men haven't tried.
But here's the big thing. We're comparing. I'm not saying that they're right, but we're comparing on what the actual definition is and what society is trying to deem men.
Okay, but then we get, there's the actual definition, then there's what the community self-identified as, then there's what society says. We're three very different groups of people here.
Well, I would say that
arguing using the exact same word to describe completely different situations.
Well, hang on. I don't think the self-identified and the actual definition it would be that different. Again, because these people...
No, it clearly is, because the actual definition, involuntary celibate, pure etymological definition.
Mm-hmm.
But the incels now make that include, well, it's a certain type of relationship beyond just sex. That has gone beyond the etymological definition.
Right. So we can also say, hey, what's a red pill? It's a pill that's red. But obviously there's a lot more to it than just that, correct? Of course. So again, we have our own lexicon. So you have to kind of operate in the space from the perspective of the lexicon and what the intention of the lexicon is.
It's our definition compared to what society deems of us. And that's a confusion that's happening. That's why I created this live stream. I want to address that.
Right. But perhaps maybe, Gray, I can make your life a little bit easier and maybe just chop it up a little bit here. Like we talked about the lack of intimacy and validational, if you want to call it that, type companionship. That would just be kind of like a traditional incel. If even the professional won't do it, that's probably something that the incel community would call more like a true cell. That's like even if you try to pay money, like nobody will do it. That's like the bottom of the barrel, the worst of the worst. Like even within their own, they have a bottom of the barrel, like the 1s out of 10. You know what I mean?
Okay, but then here's the thing. But if we're going to say that incel no longer means what it literally says, then we can't have the phrase, well, there's no such thing as an incel as long as you've got $300. Because now incel no longer means exactly what it says on the tin. Therefore, all sayings around incel need to change an alteration with it.
Well, that's what I'm trying to tell you. What I'm trying to tell you is that they accounted for this already in the lexicon.
But hold up. It
Because
means
like this is the frustrating thing is like incel was a completely nonsensical term that was easy to disprove. But now you have this community of people who have embraced this slur used against them and carved an entirely new identity so that they can hold it.
that's the whole point
Some
of the
have done
live
that,
stream.
sure.
Hold up.
But no, they straight up have. Like they took the literal definition.
Hey, I'm not
of a
saying
word.
that you're wrong, but that's the whole point of the live stream. We're
Mhm.
comparing the actual definition, and we're going to compare it to what society deems what
Hey,
that
no.
definition is. It's wrong. It's
No,
wrong.
it's not what society has said. It is what the people who want the label have said.
Yeah, well,
Like,
a lot of
okay,
those people.
it would be like if you had
Great. What I'm saying is, we all know what involuntary celibate is. It is what it is. We all know people that are within the warband or within this space or whatever it is, the black pill or whatever. We know what it means.
Mhm.
But we are the minority. The majority is society. And society are trying to deem that incel is just this violent motherfucker that just hate women so much that they're going around shooting things up.
Oh, I see what you're getting at. Yeah. Okay.
Yes. Okay. I'm not saying that they're right. I'm just trying to compare the two, and we're trying to clear the difference between those two.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so that's the biggest thing that I'm trying to. I'm not saying that they're right. We know what the actual definition is, but right now in 2022, the definition is getting so out of hand when it comes to society. They're gonna call any man that says, "Oh, hey, you're like a woman talking to her boyfriend, like the boyfriend would say, "Hey, your skirt is a little bit too short right there." Incel. Like what the fuck?
All right, I see what you're getting at. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
no, and my issue is that rather than incel being a nonsense term to be thrown away, there's a large group of people who have decided to take it upon themselves to make it a term that can accurately describe them. And they decided to make it along those same lines. Because guess what? I'm pretty sure that Elliot Rodger could get laid if he lowered his standards and had some cash.
True. And again, I mentioned that the idea of a fake cell, somebody who hasn't really tried, they just kind of bitch pissed and moaned, and they expected, Punaniti to just fall out of the sky, right? We're not chicks, right? We can't just send out choosing signals and get fish. Like that's not how it works. So yeah, no, I agree with you. I don't disagree. I'm just saying a lot of those people that are self-identified, they're probably not even incel. They just haven't tried. But then they looked at, and this is kind of, I guess, where the nihilistic argument comes from, is they consume the content. They don't even try versus the person who actually has tried, who legitimately has my sympathy. The person who hasn't tried, it's like I look at them the same exact way you do. I'm like, but bro, you haven't even tried. Like, what are you talking about? If anything, you're voluntarily sitting in your house right now. So no, we agree on that. But I think Yeet's kind of driving at a different thing here. Like, it's all right, yeah, let's get to the heart of the misconception that mainstream society has about it and how they're basically using that to kind of overreach and extend it to people that kind of have nothing to do with the space in the first place. Is that kind of what we're driving at, Yeet?
Yep.
Yeah.
I don't think I'm getting my point across, but whatever.
I get your point, but
you.
yeah, but very much like hypergamy, for example, it is what it is. The lexicon is what it is. And yes, there are average people that are just hijacking the term and using it to justify inaction or whatever it is they want to justify. We're not going to deny that, but I'm just telling you, you can go to the wiki and read it, and like that's like what it is. And people don't edit those pages that often. That's what it is. And take that for what you will. But I'm going to hold a normie who tries to, justify some bullshit accountable just like you would. So I don't think we're in disagreement on that, like at all.
Oh, great. What is your point again? Because I want to hear it in full. Because I'm not understanding probably. Like, can I hear your point again? Can I hear it?
I'm trying to summarize it.
Okay.
But what I take issue with is that rather than eliminate incel as a term, to just go, you know what? There is no such thing as an involuntary celibate because every woman has a price, everyone has a standard. That was the literal definition. It has now expanded to include guys who are like, well, I could get laid, but I want more than just the sex. So that's a problem because now it justifies what society is saying. It justifies the societal definition because the issue is who they use as incel, Elliot Rogers, men who are angry towards women because they couldn't get laid according to their definition of it. Like men who are like, you know what? If only those guys got laid, then they wouldn't have gone on murder sprees. But those guys could have gotten laid because they weren't incels by definition.
Right.
They simply had standards that could not be met and were disillusioned by it.
Right.
Well, and now it's like, you know what? And now all these guys, rather than rejecting the label of incel and being like, no, I'm not an incel, I just have standards. They're like, no, now the term incel does mean someone who has standards.
Well, again,
now it's actually closer to the societal definition.
Right. So again, yeah, there's a term for that, standard cell. Right. You're celibate because you have standards.
But they use the term incel to describe themselves, as has been discussed here. Because now the term no longer means what it literally means.
Right. So as per the lexicon, I would agree with you that you're correct.
Shit, right? We can say the same thing for red pill and all that other terms. I'm not saying that you're wrong, Gray. I'm not saying that you're wrong. But
yeah, well, like that's the issue. Like I also have with the black pill as well. Is like the red pill was a perfectly fine definition because it was like red pill reference to the Matrix gives you reality, no more, no less. Well, now that's what the black pillars say. Well, that's all the black pill is. It's reality, no more, no less. Like you had a term for that, and then you let the PUAs take it and decided to create a new offshoot of it.
Well, hell, you got like fucking.
It's frustrating because you
field and shit now. So
that's the thing. It's this constant redefinition of the terms.
Okay.
To suit new people who have no place in it. It's the antithesis of gatekeeping. It's like let's let all these people who are fucking with it decide what words mean. And then we're going to surrender it and constantly hide into an increasing niche.
Right. But do you think this is something that even can be gatekept? We're talking the internet here.
Has anyone even tried?
Oh, it could be. It's not 100% going to be gatekeep, but it can be.
Look, if everyone identified as black pill was just like, look, you're a fucking nihilist. Either change your definition to red pill or fuck off. I'm not going to listen to you.
No, it's similar to Cuck Murphy, or all these other people that claim that they're, they're masculine and they're here for people. Buy my course for $1,000, and then we expose them.
There's already plenty. Oh yeah, and a lot of those PUAs, they crap on the black pill 24/7, 365 because there's no money in the black pill.
Yeah, because recently, Authentic Alphas, he got outed for dancing at a LGBT club, dancing for, men sexually every year for the last 10 years. And based on that situation, I'm not saying he doesn't have game, but how are men going to be taking you seriously if they find out that you're out here dancing sexually for other men? Like heterosexual men are not going to take you seriously. They're not. I wouldn't.
Unless their standards are low enough.
Well, that too, yes. So I do see where Gray's. I definitely do see where Gray's coming from now when it comes to that, the black pill situation. Black pill has been under attack a lot lately. Actually, I don't know if you noticed that, Pete.
I mean, yeah, but the way I look at it, like me personally, I've kind of, if you're talking like how I've processed it, I've already just kind of accepted all the information for what it is, and I'm kind of past it. So it's like, you want to attack it, that's fine. Like I said, what you do with the information is your business. So just as you do what you want with the info, I do what I want with the info. And if someone else wants to crap on the info, there's probably a reason why they believe that, but that's not my problem. That person's opinion is not my problem.
I agree. Because once again, a lot of people can't comprehend.
Here's a hypothetical scenario that isn't actually too far-fetched here. What if, within the next year, the black pill simply becomes the red pill, but for black men?
What?
Yeah, like what? I'm not gonna lie, Gray. I'm pretty lost.
I'm lost as fuck.
What if black pill within the next year just becomes accepted as the term as like it is men's issues, but specifically for the black community?
So are you talking about changing of definition?
Oh, I think that's
the thing. It will evolve. That's the thing. It could easily evolve organically to believe that, and who would stop it?
I doubt it, because it's already a black manosphere. But but hypothetically, if it does happen, that'll be beyond fucked up. In the sense of that's not what the black pill.
But if it goes on a wiki and it's written there, then it is, isn't it?
I mean, if I go to the Wikipedia page and I go to an article like the Revolutionary War article, and I say King George won, right? No, some asshole's going to step in and correct that, which I guess maybe might be the closest thing to gatekeeping.
But that's exactly what has happened with incel. It has been completely redefined to fit a new group of people who just went on a wiki and said this is what it is.
Well, the wiki's been around since like 2017.
Wait, hold up, Pete. What do you mean a new group of people? Are you talking about the people that are within the incel group, or are you talking about people that are trying to...
I don't know who exactly wrote the incel wiki, and you know what? 5 years is not terribly long relative to the term incel.
I'm just saying, because there's two people. Well, not two people. Two groups of people that are trying to define the incel, right? And right now in 2022, especially since the manosphere in general is growing, society in general are trying to demonize as well. So there's two people, right? The people that are actually within the incel group that are trying to deal with their own 30 different definitions, or society that are trying to make them look bad and trying to make their own definition about incels.
What I'm pointing out, but like, if the word of a definition is just a matter of, well, a group of people have codified it into some sort of standardized lexicon, all you need is one decent-sized content creator to say this is what it is, and if they don't go challenge, then that is what it will be.
Can it not be said to be the same case for red pill?
Yeah, and that's why you gatekeep.
Correct. But the only way you can gatekeep is by having like these sort of databases where we have people who actually give a crap trying to, stay on top of that, so that no matter what, you have some sort of reference material. And I think that's why we all make videos and channels, so we can kind of have some collective archive of information that we can all kind of share and go back to. At least that's kind of part of what I do what I do.
We gatekeep in a sense. The Warband definitely gatekeeps in a sense, especially under Chronic. Do you know how many careers that he ended within the last 5-6 years? Like YouTube careers, I mean.
I see.
And the most recent is Croaky, the party frog.
Who the hell's that?
It's a guy that's impersonating Ribby the party frog. He thinks he's hot. Turns out he's a fat fucking tub of lard, and
I'm just saying, if you go through that much trouble to insult someone, I think on the receiving end, you should be flattered by that. That like someone gives a shit that much that they're gonna go
if he was ripped, if he was ripped, then it would have been a different story.
But he was too busy getting laid if he was ripped.
He was a fat fuck, and looked like that he was hiding a tie on his shirt. Like, it was that fucking bad. I felt bad for Ribby because I'm like, bro, you have somebody like that impersonating you? Because once again, I know Ribby, he is a whole Chad, but not too many people believe it, right? Um, in the end, though, in the end, when it comes to the incel thing, I know there's it. See, like what Gray was saying earlier, like ideas are going to evolve eventually. In the end, it's going to evolve. It's expected to evolve, but whether it evolves in a good way or in a bad way, who knows?
It's gonna be what it's gonna be.
Because
Right.
like incel, it's going to, because the way incel's going right now, eventually it's just going to become a man who does not like the current dating market.
Yeah,
That is what
What
the
do you think?
definition will be.
Right. What do you think? What do you think? Society's pushing for? Of course, you know.
But
It's
that's
like
the thing.
it's like, oh, you can't get laid. Well, then maybe you're the problem. And it's like, nah, maybe it's just, again, it's just you have to accept it. It's just the situation. Versus just like an average Joe, which is most guys, they gain a lot from the Warband and red pill spaces and things like this because they can benefit from self improvement.
But that's the thing. You're separating incel from the average Joe. I'm saying the definition of
be.
incel will expand to include the average Joe.
Correct. There is actually a saying, today's normie will be tomorrow's sub 5.
Oh, it's already happening right now. Even
Mhm.
the norm, like hell, I not once identified as black pill or incel, whatever it is.
Mhm.
Anytime, well, I'm sure you see it on my channel, Undercross channel, Ribby's channel. Anytime that we call women out, we have a bunch of people say incel, incel, incel. I'm like,
Yeah.
bro,
But
I can easily get a
Yeah.
bitch right now if I wanted to. Like, you have
Yeah.
no idea what you're talking about.
Just understand, I'm sure, you're aware. It's just an ad hominem. Again, they don't know what it means. All they know is that it pushes the button. That's all they know. So if it doesn't work and you don't give them a reaction, eventually they're going to be like, this doesn't work anymore. And they will stop eventually, because at the end of the day, it's like you know who you are as a man. And if their words hold water.
But that's the problem. The chance for them to stop would have been to reject the label entirely, but then you had this group who's like, you know what? Yes, I am incels. And that's where it's going to go. It's not going to be like, oh, well, it doesn't bug me because it stopped. No, it's going to become normalized to where more and more people will say, you know what? Yes, I am displeased with the dating market as it stands. I am an incel.
Right. So
But
I guess
my opinion,
if you see that divergence in the term, if I'm assuming the I don't want to say fear, but the expectation that's going to stem is that the men are going to accept society's expansion of the definition. Is that what your concern is?
They already have.
Well,
Who's
because the majority of society is
an
blue
incel?
pill.
Who's an incel?
No, but that's the thing, because
But
incel went.
that's the question. Who's an incel right now?
All these guys. That's the thing. All these guys who identify as incels. That's the thing. They changed the definition. Are any of them literal incels? Maybe a tiny, tiny, tiny fraction of them are literal incels. But they're like, you know what? I'm going to identify as an incel, and so now incel has expanded.
But
now,
that's the biggest
more
issue,
men
though.
are incels.
But that's the biggest issue, though. It doesn't matter if you're Chad Tyrone or you're the below average dude that's 5 foot, 300 pounds. If you call out women's bad behavior decisions, they are instantly going to call you an incel. It doesn't matter who you are. All right. If you go against their agenda, their sexual liberation or feminism or whatever the fuck they want to call it these days, they're quick.
Yeah, but now those people look less and less stupid.
True. But again, you can also argue that they can expand the definition of, well, what is misogyny, right? We can look at the dictionary. It says hatred and contempt for women, right? But if society decides to change it anyway, like what are you going to do? You just know as a man, like when you look at it like, okay, me, Pete,
well, okay, the difference is, do you embrace the term misogynist?
Of course I don't.
Well, but that's the thing. That's what incels are doing. They are embracing the term. They are embracing the term that is used to demonize them.
Right. But you could also argue that some of them who do embrace the term, if we're going to go by the lexicon, are correct. If, again, the fact pattern holds. But the ones that are incorrect, again, we call them fake cells. They're
Yeah, and that's
people that
99% of the incel community.
a good chunk of the incel community is very much not legitimately incel. I would agree with that. Yeah, they
But
would
the
be better with
biggest
a red pill
issue is,
prescription.
but the biggest issue is a man can go his own way, do his own thing,
Correct.
and
That's another option.
He will still be demonized. Completely, not even. I'm talking about in person. He would still be demonized if he told his friends, family, or like whoever he's with, like, "Hey, I don't plan on getting married. I'm just going to be doing my own thing."
Yeah, and a man worth his salt
Instantly
shouldn't care what someone else thinks about that.
I know, but in general, what I'm saying is, even when a man doesn't want to deal with all that shit anymore, whether like he's not even involuntary celibate, he just want to do his own thing. At the end of the day, society, whether it's friends or family or whoever he's with, are quick to judge him for just doing his own thing, right? Because in their mind, right, in their perspective, society's perspective, he's still an incel at the end of the day because he doesn't even
But
want
now,
sex and shit.
as the definition expands, then it's not just society that is forcing the incel label on that man, but the incel community as a whole.
Yeah, but they've been doing this for a while now. I mean, consider the whole HR department thing. Well, what's harassment? What's SA? What's this? What's that? Right? They expand the definitions on these things all the time. So all I'm kind of getting is this isn't really anything new. So if I'm kind of in a position where I'm just looking at this from a personal place, think of it what you will. I look at it like, well, society's going to think what it's going to think, no matter what I do. Most are blue pilled. It is what it is. So I'm in a place where I've accepted this stuff for what it is. I know what it means to me. That's good enough for me. I'm going to move how I move, and that's it. But again, if you're hoping that like they're going to just understand, that they're not. They're just not, because they don't care to understand. Why would they? Their lives aren't complicated. It's us that's bleeding here. It's us trying to figure things out.
Here's one more question.
Hey, who's us?
Oh, do you believe?
Like, does us include the incels, or does us not include the incels?
Just hold on. Wait, hold on. Everybody stop. All right. Do you believe that a single man's life is going to get harder in the future? In the sense of society, aka the state, is going to find one way or another to extract resources.
Well, can't you argue, again, and I'm speaking here as a tax guy, that because you're single, you get a lower standard deduction, right? Your credits and all this stuff, like it's not as good as it would be. You don't have access to as many credits as you would if you had kids, if you were married, or this, that, and the third. So in a way, can it not be argued that there already is kind of a tax gap between single filers and married filers? Yeah.
But here's the big thing, because we already know that. Do you believe the state is going to make it worse in the future?
I think if enough women that have this feminist ideology get into power, and they want to go for the power grab, like they have the matriarchal mindset, I think they just kind of look at us as people that deserve to be punished, and it will go in that direction. Yeah, probably.
Okay, well, here's here's a counter question to that. Do you think it's going to get so bad for a single man that he'd be better off in a relationship?
Ooh, that's a good question.
I agree.
Because guess what? I see men who like they take their bi-weekly paycheck and they hand it over to their wife. I don't care if it's a fucking 70% deduction. 70%, like if it was 70% deduction for single men and 10% deduction for married men, 90% of zero is still zero.
Okay.
But it all depends on how much a man values his freedom at the end of the day.
Yes.
That's the biggest
What price are you willing to put on that?
Okay, no, it's not even just freedom. Like, do you seriously think that a married man has more take-home money? Because it's like,
He doesn't even have any money now.
So what is the advantage of the relationship that even a heavily taxed single man, like, okay, yeah, a single man's life is going to be worse than a single man's life today,
financially, right?
But that's it. It's worse than today. But guess what? The fucking married men aren't going to get better lives.
True. But the question's going to become is, are they basically, because again, like nobody's committing to the retired CC riders. So the question is becoming, are they going to try to do a government sanctioned forced cheap it or keep her type deal? Are they going to try to do that? It's an interesting question, but who knows?
They get divorced.
But to make it cheaper to get her, cheaper to keep her, the amount that they have to take from men to do this is basically everything. They have to be like, look, you don't get a paycheck unless you have a woman and you're giving your paycheck to her.
Which is why it's important that on some level there are men who stay in power, because men at least see each other as human beings, not cash cows.
And
I believe personally more and more.
You really think that the men in power don't see the average man as a cash cow?
No. Fuck all that. More and more men are going to get divorced in the future. Bet.
Oh yeah, for sure.
They're going to get divorced because right now, do you really think men give a fuck at this point? More and more men are not going to give a fuck in the future because what is the point of marriage? And hopefully, with the videos or the bullshit that they go through, they're going to realize that. Like, I'd much rather be living in a 1-bedroom apartment by myself and live with my essentials and be at peace. I believe that's going to be more and more in the future.
Yeah, probably, but I don't know if anyone's going to be happy about it, though.
Well, hell, it's better than dying an early grave in marriage.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, like, more like a lot of men, they realize that. They're like the media, not just media, but when it comes to looking at videos on social media, when it comes to looking at what their family members or their friends go through, except, like, I'm telling you, man, it's going to get worse, especially when the recession, it may or may not hit, but I believe it's going to hit. When the recession hits, guarantee you, it's going to get worse because I know that the men, they're probably not going to initiate it. It's more likely going to be the woman, right? Yeah. So it's definitely going to get to that point where men are like, you know what, fuck it. I'd rather struggle on my own if he doesn't have any kids. I'd rather struggle on my own than to deal with that woman. If you want to divorce me, fuck it. But, like, good fucking luck. Good luck, because when it comes to what's happening right now, I already had a text message a year and a half ago with an ex when Biden, he lifted the memorandum of you have to pay rent again. Before you didn't have to pay rent, but now you have to pay rent. I literally had a text message that same day when Biden lifted that thing where, okay, hey, now you have to pay your landlord rent.
Oh, you got the "Hey Stranger" text?
Yes. I'm like, bitch, we haven't talked in like 7 years. 7 years we haven't talked. And all of a sudden, oh, I see you doing good for yourself. Yeah, I'm doing a phenomenal job. What do you want? What do you want?
Yeah, she bet on the wrong ponies.
Yeah, and eventually, you know, she's like, oh, you know, I'm struggling on this and that. Like, all right, what are you going to do about it? Mm-hmm. You expect me to do something about it? But regardless, I really do believe that the divorce rate is going to skyrocket within the next 5 years. It's going to skyrocket even more.
Yeah. It kind of sucks.
You know what? No, I'm actually. Here's the counter. Because if women are the primary initiators of divorce, like, if more men do it, like, men are not going to divorce in such numbers that it eclipses women.
No.
So the question is, are women going to divorce at an increased rate. And if shit's getting harder, I'd
say
say
yeah.
no, they're not.
Oh, damn.
They're actually going to hang on tighter, especially since the most useless jobs in the existing economy, the first ones to get the axe, are the ones held by women.
The fluff
You,
jobs.
you underestimate a woman's delusions, especially when she is able to be entitled to a man's income and have his share.
Yeah, but okay, but women are more likely to divorce when the man loses his job, not when she loses her job.
Right. True.
Well, it's not just the job. She could just not be happy.
Hey, yeah, but she'll put up with bullshit.
Yep.
Like if she's fucking financially goddamn destitute.
We'll see if she doesn't see anybody better. You know.
Oh no,
down
that's the
line.
thing. She'll see. Oh, we don't.
It
Look,
also
she'll
happens as well.
fuck. She will absolutely cheat on the man. I'm not
No,
saying
no, I'm
that's
talking
not
about
gonna happen.
financially, not just jumping on schlong. I'm talking about financially as well.
Okay, but she's
Well,
fucking
women have an eye for that.
better off than the man she's existing married is not going to give her the fucking time of day. And the ones that are, it's going to be in such small numbers to be statistically insignificant.
But how would she know?
Because
you
she's
know,
going to be trying to get that guy, and she's going to see him with someone 10 years younger.
But you know how women operate. Women primarily base their decisions on emotions. And it changes like the weather.
Yes, but they usually, but you know that they monkey branch. They don't go.
But here's the thing: she thinks she has a.
At the very least, they've got to be fucking another guy before they divorce. They're not just going to get the fantasy in their head and then divorce without even fucking speaking to the dude.
Yes and no. Yes and no. Because there's plenty of situations where she didn't even have to fuck the guy. The guy can literally just say sweet nothings in her ear. And she thinks that she's the next big thing than that prince from Cinderella and divorce her.
But that's when you get the whole fucking Me Too bullshit going on. Are men going to take that risk more and more by getting involved with a married woman? Or are fewer men going to take that risk? We're talking about the divorce rate. We need to look at the large scale stuff, not that it can happen in a handful of cases because it has. No, you have to look at the large scale group effects of it. I genuinely think that fewer women are going to have the.
It depends on her age.
Yeah, well, like millennial women are in their 30s now. So millennial women nowadays are post-wall. So it's going to be the fucking Gen Zers that have the opportunity. And how many of them are actually going to be able to get married in the first place?
Well, what I'm saying is women divorce their men for the stupidest fucking reasons. That cannot be.
They have to get married before they can divorce, and the marriage rates in the shitter too.
But I'm talking about the divorce from the already married. Women divorce a man for the stupidest reasons. That is a fact.
Yes,
they don't divorce a man.
That group of women aren't in their 20s.
You'd be surprised.
I'm sure there are some. I'm talking about the statistical groups. Millennial women are in their 30s.
It's not as bad as the 30s, but it happens in the 20s as well.
Yes, but
what I'm saying is, I understand that it's worse in the 30s, but it happens in the 20s as well.
Yes, but
in 2022 in our society, all ages will think about one reason to just divorce everybody.
Yes, it happens. Yes, they do it for bullshit, but there aren't as many that even have the opportunity to divorce in their 20s as there were 20 years ago. There are fewer women married in their 20s now.
With all the safety nets that they have, I don't know, bro. I don't know.
I'm not saying it's not happening. I'm not saying you can't find 1,000 fucking anecdotes, but if you look at the marriage rate, it is lower, and it is on a downward trend, and it's not going to go up anytime soon.
I don't see anything wrong with that.
I'm not denying. Hey, I'm not denying. But I'm just saying, it also happens.
But to answer the,
that's the whole
Will
the
there
Hulk
be some
says.
examples of women fucking getting goddamn deluded and divorcing their husbands for the stupidest reasons? And are we going to see that kind of content on YouTube channels and like Casual Bachelor and all that kind of stuff? Yes, we're going to see that. Will that be happening on
it happens.
large? Yes, it happens. But guess
On a
what?
lar-
There's also
on a
women
large
that have
scale in the
healthy children
30s.
at age 40. We can't take these
On a large
individual
scale in the
anecdotes.
30s, yes. On a large
Yes,
scale in the 30s, yes.
in their yes, large scale 30s, yes. But do more or women in their compare 2020s to the 1990s? Are there more married women in their 30s in 2022, or were there more married women in their 30s in 1992?
1992, of course.
So if we're looking at the
22, yeah, of course.
rate as a large aggregate,
Mhm.
are there going to be more of these incidents or less of these incidents?
So you're saying that because, Morgan Stanley did the study that by 2030, half
It's
the
going-
women 30 and up are going to not have kids or never get married. By that
I'm
logic, the cases would go down. Yeah.
That's my argument, that the number of cases will go down simply because there are fewer women capable of doing it.
So not because the problem actually got solved.
Correct.
Well, yeah.
I'll
Man,
see.
listen.
I'll see. I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying. But in my opinion, divorce. In my opinion, just me, divorce will get worse.
Okay, but that's
It will get worse.
if we're looking at the statistics
Because
of
I'm
divorce
pretty
as
sure
a
in 1992
percentage.
In 1992, they didn't take social media into account.
True.
So your argument is that
It's going to get
divorce
worse.
as a. I need to get specific here. So your argument is that divorce as a percentage of marriages
Will go down.
will no.
Because
Like, no,
fewer
he's
women are
arguing
gonna-
that it's going to go up.
Well, I would say this. The marriages that still do exist, the reason those marriages are going to end is for stupider shit. Because social media
hold
does
up.
show
Let
you
me
how
take
green
this-
the grass is on the other side. Allegedly.
Divorce is not a part of female nature.
Yes,
What
it
the
is.
fuck?
Well, I would say
What?
trying to get the best deal that you can is part of female nature. The best genes to pass on.
Hypergamy
Whatever your
exists,
criteria
bro.
for that
Like,
is.
I'm not trying to pick on you. I'm not trying to pick on you, Chaos. But hypergamy
But
exists.
the only
All right. It can be for the pettiest reasons. It exists.
moving on to the next strongest man is absolutely a part of female nature. It's built in for biological success. They only take them cash and prizes because the
Yeah.
government enables them to, but the act of stepping outside your relationship for what you see as a better opportunity
let
is
me-
inherent to the female creature.
Let me step in. I think I understand. Now, Chaos is just making a clarification. He's basically saying divorce is just an institution. That's all. It's not programmed into the genetic code. Yes, but the institution does empower what is in the genome, which is the hypergamous traits. So it's a tool that enables it to manifest in a more destructive way, I guess.
But
He's
that's the
making that
thing.
distinction.
Last thing, it would be as though there was a system in place that gave a man money for every child, he sired, and no consequences. You'd have a shit ton of kids being born, and you'd probably have some illegal actions on top of that. But that would be an institution on top of a biological urge to encourage it. Whereas the institution should be to repress the female urge to step outside of the relationship if you want a stable society.
Yep, taming
That
the
guy
Ooga
Pete.
Booga.
That guy Pete, are you good?
Yeah, I'm chilling, man.
Are you good, Gray?
Yeah.
All right.
Actually playing Warframe in the background. You mind if I turn on the cam so we got something to run it around?
No, I don't mind. Yeah, you can turn it on. You can turn it on.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, like, I don't want people to say, like, oh, you know, they're arguing. No, this is
Nah, we're just
actual normal
having a
conversation.
conversation. Yeah, this is just a conversation.
All right.
It's a good one, I might add.
Yeah, like we need to have conversations like these. Like, I don't want people coming up in here agreeing with everything that I got to say. Like, I want people to challenge what I got to say. That's why I have Gray on. So, that guy Pete, when it comes to the incel situation, right? How do you feel about society trying to intertwine incel with the most violent criminals out there these days?
Well, it's obvious, what their intention is, right? You start with what they perceive to be the most extreme elements, right? And then they work their way down, and before you know it, channels like this are on the chopping block. That's what they're looking to do.
Gee,
Yeah, I kind of look at it the same way I look at these alleged attempts at gun control, right? It's like we're here trying to like educate men, so that they rethink things like, oh my God, a girl dumped me. Now I need to go buy some rope. Like we're trying to like get them to rethink that and be like, no, there's other things going on. You'd have to be either feeling very threatened or just batshit insane to actually think that this type of environment fosters, criminals. So obviously we don't claim them, right? It's no secret. But you can just, again, like Gray said, you can just expand the definition of whatever you want, which I agreed with him already. That's very dangerous. You can make it mean whatever you want it to mean, push it on CNN or whatever you want to push it on. So listen, it's inevitable that they're going to come for us. There's nothing, like we can try, but it's inevitable. It's like, the blue pill, they will fight to defend the system with every fiber of their being. Morpheus said it best. They are the people we're trying to save, but they will fight to preserve their BS because that feels better to them than, just telling them the truth. But me, I look at the truth as liberating. But I would say, in short, of course, it's absolutely ridiculous, to take an incel, if you even want to call them that, and let's say one like decides after learning the information, they decide to go off the deep end, you can't account for that, because for every one that goes off the deep end, there are plenty of people that actually are very, very grateful that someone told them this information, because they were like agonizing in pain because they couldn't understand anything, and then someone helped them, and they were like, "Oh, now I get it, and I'm not alone," and it's a great feeling. So, short answer is, I mean, they're gonna do what they're gonna do, and it is fucking wrong. It is stupid, but it's kind of par for the course when you're dealing with the mainstream.
I definitely agree. Gray, what do you have to say about that? Or
Like I think, like even we get into like the most violent criminals. Like, let's be honest, they have two examples: Elliot Roger and that one guy in Toronto with the truck. Those are their examples. That's hardly like the worst. I mean, like the recent school incident, that was not tied in with incels at all. Or like the grocery store incident. Like that's not tied in with incels. That's put down for more tangible political purposes.
Gray, somebody has a comment. Are you using
Yeah,
Rhino?
Yeah, I picked up Rhino and I'm just trying to level him up in the sanctuary right now. It's the Warframe model I'm using.
But it's crazy that the phenomenon is happening lately. That anytime there's any type of violent crime, they want to associate it with incels.
Well, no, that's the thing. They really don't, because they could with the most recent ones. I'm sure that there's more than enough people behind the scenes pulling things. But for it to be an incel crime, it has to be a very specific profile. Like it has to be a man of average or below looks whose victims are majority teenager or adult females. Like if a man if Giga Chad went out and smoked like 30 dudes, that would not fit the profile of an incel.
No, girls would be swooning over him as his picture gets posted on the internet.
There'll be that guy, Chris, I forgot what his name was, with like yeeted his entire family, pregnant wife, and 2 daughters, I think it was.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like they can't tackle it to any crime. It has to be a very specific crime.
For now.
Right, because that Chris guy, he was, till this day, he's getting naked photos and love letters. Like, even though he killed his entire family, which is insane.
Well, and that's the other thing. Like, oftentimes for the incel crime, like, the perpetrator in question usually has to die at the end of it.
Mm-hmm.
It's gotta, like, they either got to go out in a shooting or far more likely self-terminate.
Yep. We don't mind getting rid of bad genetic material, but good genetic material, no, we're not going to waste that. Let's send some love letters to that.
Oh, no. That's the thing. The quality of the genetic material is determined by whether or not they live. Because you can have someone of average genetic material commit the same crime.
Right.
If they're dead, then they're an incel. But if they're alive, if they get a story, they can get fans. They can get those letters, and they can get that social clout that they were looking for.
The status, right. I agree with that, yeah.
So like, the crimes that can be pinned on incels are very few and far between, and which, fortunate. Yeah, I think that's kind of universally a good thing that there are very few crimes that fit that kind of profile.
Right. Wasn't there a TV show? I forgot which one it was. They did an episode on quote unquote the manosphere, and of course, you already know they put they spearheaded it with the incel. It was some crime show.
Probably Law and Order Special Victims Unit.
It was like it's like
did it have Ice-T?
It did not have Ice-T. No.
It did not have Ice-T. What the fuck?
No, that's the thing. Like I would imagine it would have been like Law and Order SVU, because I remember when they did like a video game thing, and you have Ice-T explaining video games as exposition.
Hey, Pete, is it FBI Watch?
I think so. Yeah. Now I'm just like picturing Ice-T at the station asking questions. So you're telling me there's men who get angry because they don't get puniti? Yeah, Ice, that's what we're telling you.
No.
And then they go crazy
asking the question. He's giving the answers. No. You got to imagine Ice-T explaining manosphere terms.
Yeah.
I can definitely see him doing that. Actually,
picture Ice-T explaining what a Tyrone is.
Exactly.
It's a guy I will never be.
Ice-T explaining what a painting is. Oh god.
And then after and halfway through his explanation, just executive producer Dick Wolf.
Precisely.
Hey, don't talk shit about Dick Wolf, bro. All right, don't talk shit about Dick Wolf. All right, that's my favorite director. Okay, I grew up. Okay, my parents were too addicted to Law and Order. Okay, every time I go, they're watching Law and Order. Fuck.
Yeah, my mom watches a lot.
It's a good show. It's a good show.
Yeah, no, they had that time slot nailed down for after school. Anyway,
you guys remember the I forgot the old school where they what was the original recording? You record the show.
PVR, DVR,
TiVo.
I think it was DVR.
TiVo.
I think it was TiVo.
Yeah, TiVo was a thing.
Because of course, my dad worked a lot, so he had to record all of his Law and Order shows. I couldn't even record or watch shit because he had 3-4 fucking Law and Order shows recorded. I'm like, what the fuck, And I couldn't stop it. I couldn't delete it because I ain't trying to get in trouble. Fuck all that. Fuck that. And then when he gets home, hey, come sit down over here. Let's watch some Law and Order. Fuck. But I do get it. I do get into the show. It's just like it's very random out of nowhere where I'm just doing my own thing. He's like, "Hey, come here, boy. We're gonna watch the mess for you." Good times, very good times. You know, but in the end, so that got Pete. When it comes to the black pill, right? How I had to distance myself from red pill besides the memes, right? Because like nobody else is gonna get what I'm posting without saying red pill. But anything else, I pretty much distance myself from that. Do you believe that's probably going to happen to you in the future?
What do you mean?
So you associate black pill, right?
Well, I acknowledge that the basic tenets of it do exist on some level, and it does affect some people more than others. Probably doesn't affect me in my day to day.
But I was just wondering because I thought you associate black pill and
well, yeah, I acknowledge it, but if you're asking like, do I go to the meetings and go to the church and do the services? No.
No. That's what I'm saying. If it gets too saturated, like, do you think you're gonna be distancing yourself from that as well? Because what happened to the red pill when Fed and fraud and all these motherfuckers came in?
I'm always gonna be doing my own thing. So again, no, listen, those playlists, whatever they are, it's gonna sit there. You know, it's just gonna sit there, and then you can do what you want with the content. Yeah, I always like to say like, hey, well, with my subscriber base, I'm growing right alongside them and learning and reflecting on different topics and things all the time. So my channel is always kind of a developing thing as well. But I already covered most of the topics for red and black, I think, at least enough that it's a working model. So there's not really much left to say on that. Eventually, it's probably going to get to a point where it's like I'm going to run out of topics and it's just going to sort of sit there. But hey, if it helps someone 10 years from now, even, I'll look at it like, okay, then it was worth it to do all that. So to answer your question in short, it's not a matter of distancing. I think all the information is already out. It's already out there. So I look at it like, okay, I don't look at it as something like this is like part of my identity, like it's glued to me. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, I'm still my own person. Yeah. And I just kind of look at the information like, yeah, these things matter. Tuck it in the back of your head. Don't let it define your life. Don't go walking around life like, oh my God, it's over. Just acknowledge it for what it is. And listen, if life is good, you know, take the good moments when you can. But if the good moments don't come, so be it. It's gonna be what it's gonna be.
Does your arm get tired though?
Does my arm get tired?
When it comes to the whiteboard.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, I guess. But
I'm like, what the fuck? Like, why so many words, bro?
Why so many words? Because yeah, man, this brain never shuts off. That's
I mean, a whole lecture when I choose your videos, I'm like, oh damn! Like
recently, I haven't been using the board as much. I've been kind of doing a blend, off the cuff and whiteboard videos, kind of a blend. So, yeah.
I still say you should get a bigger whiteboard.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think I have room for a bigger one. That's the problem. It's like,
what?
Yeah, unless I convert one of the walls in my house to a whiteboard, but I don't think I'm going to do that. Like, we'll have one of those professor whiteboards where it's like you have like 3 boards and you could like slide them over and stuff. Like, I don't think that's ever going to happen.
Okay, no, not too big. Just big enough, like a little bit bigger. Because
what you do is you get one of those like tablets that are also a screen. And then you like broadcast it Twitch style, where you've got your main camera with you just down in the corner talking, and then you're writing on the screen as a giant whiteboard, and you just keep on expanding it every time you need more space.
Are you talking about the old school shit where, you know?
No, I'm not talking overhead projectors. I'm talking like kind of what artists do with like their streams.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. You're talking about like those tablets, like they do the art station stuff, kind of. Yeah, I think I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I'd have to take a whole freaking course on how to use that shit, man.
Kind of just plug and play where your tablet's your mouse. But
yeah, you're talking like when I was born. It's like Super Nintendo just came out the year after I was born. It's like, so yeah, back when video games, the best graphics were 16-bit. That's where I started.
You play Ratchet and Clank?
No, but
What?
I know who makes Ratchet and Clank. It was
What the
Insomniac
fuck?
Games, but I did play Spyro, the original Spyro trilogy,
Okay,
which was
yeah.
made by the same people. Again, my age is
That's a
showing
great
now.
game. That's a good game. I
And
give
I
that.
played Crash Bandicoot, of course. I
What
grew up
about
on that
Midnight
stuff.
Club?
What was it?
Midnight Club. Midnight Club. It's a
Oh, you
racing
talk about Need for Speed? There is actually a Need for Speed Midnight Club.
No, Midnight Club. It's a racing game, but it's not Need for Speed.
Are you sure it's not Need for Speed?
No, it's not me.
Damn, bro.
No, it's not.
Was it on PS2?
Well, when I played it was on a regular Xbox.
Oh, maybe I'm having false memory then with the name of the game.
I played Midnight Club 3 Dub Edition.
Yes. I think we're talking about the same game. I'm just an idiot. That's what I think.
Oh, he just said it right here. He just look here.
Yeah, Midnight Club Dub Edition. It's like as soon as you mention that, it's like, yeah, it's the box art with like the two cars on it and the rims are like on the front of the cover or something. I have like
but Need for Speed is good as well. I'm not. It's a good racing game. But what about Burnout?
I mean, if you want to talk like racing games, I didn't really play them like probably as much as you did.
So what about shooting games? Because I play shooting games the most.
FPS, third person shooter. I played the Halo series so many times. I played Gears of War so many times.
So you telling me you survived the library on Halo 1? Halo Combat Evolved?
Not on Legendary, no.
Yeah, me neither. I couldn't beat that level on Legendary.
Yeah.
Like, I was scared because I was playing at midnight and I was like 9, 10 years old.
Halo 2 on Legendary is worse.
What?
The Jackal sniper is one shot, you're out.
Okay, I can't disagree with you on that one. Okay. All right.
Okay. And then high charity as well is pretty bad. Too. Like the brutes just come out and like you're dead. Like 2 needler rounds, you're out. So it's like, yeah.
Literally, man. And my first Call of Duty game was Call of Duty 3, but I got serious with my online gaming with Call of Duty 4. That was the first serious online gaming I've done.
Yeah.
And
I mean, I really only play cooperative multiplayer sometimes. And honestly, like Mass Effect is probably like the only cooperative multiplayer I've played. That's like my favorite video game series of all time, and I've played that like to death. Yeah.
Mass Effect, I heard it pissed a lot of people off, at least with the ending.
Yeah, Mass Effect 3 pissed a lot of people off.
Yeah,
Mass Effect 1 and 2 were pretty good.
Here's the thing, though: if you didn't pop your Mass Effect cherry, so to speak, nowadays you can get the upgraded Legendary Edition, where the, I guess, quote unquote fixed ending, if you want to call it that, it's more of an expanded ending, is kind of the default packaging, so you won't have to deal with the bitter taste of the vanilla ending.
That makes sense. But like one game that I was completely horrible at when it comes to shooting games is I completely forgot the name. Hold up. It's a game where you roll around a lot. Like you roll. Hold up. Oh, Gears of War. That's what it's called.
Yep, I've played all of those. I've played 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, Judgment, and Tactics.
Gears of War, I was complete trash. I always got destroyed. My body always like exploded to pieces. Like I was like, fuck this game.
Yeah. I mean, I played for story primarily.
Titanfall, yes. That's one of my, I haven't played it in years, but Titanfall is the shit. I love Titanfall. Titanfall 2 as well.
To be honest, I never played Titanfall.
What? Oh,
there's a lot of games I have played, but there's a lot of games I haven't played too.
Titanfall wasn't okay. Titanfall is popular, but it wasn't that popular, so it's all good. It's all good in the neighborhood. I played Fight Night Champions, the boxing game. I played what else? Oh, let's go back to the shooting games. I played World at War. I played Modern Warfare 2, Black Ops. Black Ops 2, Black Ops 3, Advanced. I literally played all the Call of Duties up until Vanguard. I did not buy Vanguard.
Yeah, I'm more of a sci-fi person, so I'm actually one of the people because remember I don't really play the multiplayer for Call of Duty. I played the campaign. I really liked Call of Duty. I think it's Infinite Warfare, that like one-off sci-fi game they had. I really liked that. That was a good game.
The campaign was phenomenal.
That's like when you actually have some dog fighting in outer space and stuff like that. Yeah, it was really cool.
I didn't like the ending of Infinite Warfare. I didn't like it.
Yeah,
No,
I mean, to be honest, I don't really expect much from a Call of Duty campaign, so maybe it's a little bit more difficult to disappoint me on that.
But I had to cry manly tears though. That's why I didn't like it.
Did you play Ghost of Tsushima? That's a good game. You should play that game.
No, I don't think so. Hold up.
Samurai game.
Yeah, that was a surprisingly good game. I played that game. I really liked it. It came out the same year as Last of Us Part 2.
That game.
Yeah, Tsushima was good. I really liked that game.
Really?
Had so much cool stuff to do.
Did you beat the whole game?
Yeah.
Oh shit. Okay, I guess I need. Isn't there a second one or not yet?
I don't think there is a second one. I do think they released. There was like a director's cut, I think, when they had additional content. I might be mixing that up with Death Stranding, or perhaps both of them have a director's cut. I can't remember off the top of my head. But
Moon. I used to be a console gamer, but now I'm a PC gamer.
I play both.
Yeah. Give me a second. By next month, I'll have also a console as well. So definitely wait.
So what are you getting? Are you getting a 5 or a Series X?
5.
Yeah. 5's going to have a better exclusive lineup. And at the end of the day, a lot of Xbox exclusives you could just get on PC. I mean, even Halo Infinite is out on PC. And that's like one of like big titles.
But yeah, I beat the entire Spider-Man game, Morales.
Yeah, I only played the PS4 one. I didn't play Morales yet. Was it good?
Oh my God. I really hope they make a second one. That was a great game.
The PS5 Morales one you're saying was good.
Yes, the PS5 one at least. But
yeah,
the plot was amazing. I loved it.
Yeah, sounds like I gotta play it.
But I definitely gonna be good. This should be on Steam, right? Ghost of.
It might be. No. I'm not sure. It was on when it was on PS4. It was a Sony exclusive, I think. But that may have changed. Maybe it was a timed release. I don't know. Some of them did get released on PC in terms of formerly PlayStation exclusives, but I don't think all of them did. Yeah, another good RPG I played it on PC was Nier Automata.
Yeah.
Yeah, that or Automata, whatever it is. That's a great game. I enjoyed that game too. Yeah.
But I miss the old school games though. Like so many games I can mention right now. Tekken, Street Fighter.
Yeah. I mean, I grew up on what did we have? Like I said, I played original NES, but I played Super Nintendo, and then we had PlayStation after that, and then we had PS2 and GameCube, and then pretty much after that generation, I just had all the company consoles after that. So 360, PS3, Wii, and then PS4, Xbox One, Wii U, Switch, all that.
I think it was Marvel vs. Capcom 3 or 4, where I was getting my ass whooped by my brother.
What do you think of Soul Calibur?
I don't play that game anymore. Huh?
What do you think of Soul Calibur?
I love that. Oh, I love that. It's Soul Calibur and Dead or Alive is what I remember when I was young.
Yeah, I liked Soul Calibur. That was cool. No More Heroes, that's another excellent series. I've played all those games. No More Heroes. That's really good. Okay.
Everybody in the chat right now, I repeat, everybody in the chat, let me know what your all-time favorite video game is. I repeat, let me know what your all-time favorite video game is. I am curious. I want to know what you guys, if you play video games, let me know what your favorite one is.
How have we not mentioned Metal Gear?
Oh,
like you have like in your thumbnail, like so many Metal Gear references. Like how have we not talked about that?
I failed as a gamer. That is definitely my fault. Oh, I forgot to mention it. Metal Gear, definitely.
It's up there.
So I didn't know till recently, personally, that Metal Gear and Splinter Cell are both in the same universe.
What? Get the fuck out of here. Where'd you read that?
Well, when Splinter Cell, I forgot which game it was. I forgot. But Splinter, he said it was Agent Fisher. He
I think
said
that's his
that
name,
yeah, the lady said that the Metal Gear Solid person,
Snake.
Snake. I've been drinking a bit. Give me a second. Said that he retired, and he said, "Oh, I'm the only one left. Oh no!" Like he's like, "Damn!" Like I'm the last one. And he went to a room, and she announced that Snake retired.
Yeah, that might be more of. I would say that's probably more of an Easter egg. That's
It's
probably
like,
not like the same universe.
yeah, the Metal Gear
I
timeline
want
gets
to
pretty
believe that
distinct.
they're in the same universe. Okay.
Listen, man.
It makes it more.
They have the
makes it
same
more
alcohol in
beautiful.
both universes. That's probably
It
true.
makes it more beautiful. Okay, it makes it more tear jerking.
Yeah. Metal Gear was such a great series, though. So great. Yeah.
Amazing. Like you do believe that they're done?
Yeah, probably. If anything, maybe they'll do remasters, but without Hideo Kojima, it's not going to be the same. It's just not going to be the same. Don't get me wrong. There's good games where like Hideo Kojima was just the producer on it and it was still good. Like I enjoy Portable Ops for what it was. I was a big fan of Rising Revengeance. I think that game is really fun. Senator Armstrong alone is a hilarious character.
It's too based.
Oh yeah, the Senator Armstrong is so based. Like it's like, is this the villain? Like, are we sure? Like maybe we should let him just do what he wants because I don't think he's wrong.
I would definitely vote for. I will vote him for president instantly.
Yeah, don't fuck with that senator.
Nano machines, son.
Yeah, Dragon Age also is
Inquisition.
Yeah, so Dragon Age is like the dark fantasy version of Mass Effect in the sense that like the same company made both. Dragon Age definitely currently I would say still has a better reputation in terms of like how fans feel about it compared to Mass Effect. But yeah, I enjoy Dragon Age as well. It's a good dark fantasy RPG. A lot of good stuff.
But with Dragon Age, Dragon Age's promises though were far more humble than Mass Effect's. Mass Effect, you essentially were supposed to follow the same character across 3 games for one epic story.
Yeah.
If Mass Effect had been 3 separate games following 3 separate characters in the same universe, people would have been far more okay with the flaws.
Yeah, but Mass Effect was some very, very impressive technology. Like what they pulled off was very impressive. Like how they did all that plot transferring and stuff. It was really cool. I think nowadays they have like this online thing where you can kind of like pre-program your choices and import it into the game nowadays. Which is probably a little bit easier and more efficient, but it was kind of cool. Like that the game would remember what you did in the last game. Now, like back in 2010 when Mass Effect 2 came out, it was like, wow, like that shit's crazy. But yeah.
My all-time favorite game, and believe me, I have a lot of favorite games, but the game that actually blew me away is the first Assassin's Creed.
I've played a few Assassin's Creed games, a few. Mostly the Ezio collection I played.
Yeah, I played the entire trilogy, and I will play it for 100 times. I believe Ezio is one of the best characters created in gaming history.
Yeah. What is that? What does he say? I think he says it in Latin when he kills someone. What is it? Requiescat in pace, which is like rest in peace.
Yes.
Yeah, it's like in Latin. Though,
in Italian. Well, Latin?
I think so, right? Because
it's Latin.
Yeah, it's like in the time. It's like in the time of like what the Renaissance, I think it was.
Yeah, Renaissance Italy.
Yeah.
The story arc of Ezio del Auditore de Firenze. I forgot.
Ezio Auditore da Firenze.
Yeah. All right, I fucked up horribly, but his story arc is one of like literally the best. Like I'm telling you, man. Like I can right now play Assassin's Creed 2, Assassin's Assassin's Creed Brotherhood and Revelations, and I will still enjoy every second of it. And it will be my third or fourth run. That the character.
Have you played Valhalla?
Amazing. No, I've been hearing mixed feelings about Valhalla actually.
Yeah, well, I like it, but that's probably because the Viking blood talking.
They believe that they could have done better.
I mean, the expectations of the fan bases is going to continue to go up as the technology keeps getting better and better. So, I mean, if there's one thing I've learned, you name a video game fan base, there's someone salty in it. And you get to choose, like, am I going to engage with this and have energy drained from me arguing about the logistics of the lore, or am I just going to enjoy the damn game? It's like, okay.
I agree, but I'm going to read off these games right quick. Where you at? Give me a second. What the fuck? Hold up. People went too far. Hold up. You guys type a lot. All right, Borderlands. Yes, I am a big fan of Borderlands. Sir, you disappoint me. It's amazing. Good. Hopefully I continue to disappoint you. That's my whole goal. I hope you wake up one day and just be so disappointed that you just jump off a trampoline and you twist your ankle. Let me keep going. Recon Wildlands. That it was a good game, but the plot was horrible. I bought the game, so I definitely know about that. Sleeping Dogs. Oh, what a classic. What a classic. I love Sleeping Dogs. I'm surprised they didn't do a Sleeping Dogs 2. What the fuck?
Well, technically, Sleeping Dogs was actually the third one in a series.
Oh.
Yeah, because before it was Sleeping Dogs, it was actually True Crime. Streets of LA and then Streets of New York.
Yeah, those games I remember.
And then Sleeping Dogs was basically a rebranding of what was supposed to be the third True Crime game.
Oh, I didn't know what was good? Saints Row.
Which one?
I mean, probably my favorite was the second one.
That's the best one. Saints Row 2 is where the series peaked.
Saints Row 2 was so good.
What's Pillar of Eternity? I don't know what that is.
That's it's an RPG isometric. Pretty good if you're a fan of role playing games.
I'm a big fan.
I really liked Fallout 3 in particular. Fallout 3 in New Vegas. I enjoyed those. Those were fun.
Is it Fallout 3 or yeah, it is Fallout 3. Miles Morales, yes, that's a very good game. What else? Hold up. Time Splitters 2. I've never heard of that game.
Very, very tongue-in-cheek shooter game. Like there's like one of the most iconic scenes is where you get like you're stuck at a door and you look up and you are in the vent. You pass a key to yourself. And later in the game, you pass that same key to yourself. But at no point in the game do you ever get the key originally. It's a paradox key.
I'll be so confused.
That's the thing. It's the kind of game where like it's fun. It's fun with time travel, but you also don't think about it too hard.
Nier Automata?
Yeah, Nier Automata. Yeah, I played that on PC. That was a good game.
What game is that?
So it's I think
you know the android chick who's wearing a leotard and she's got a blindfold on.
Yeah.
White hair.
All right, that might be the easiest way to explain it.
Yeah. Is that the one that everybody has like a Rule 34 for?
Yeah. Well, first off, Rule 34 can apply to anything. There's no exceptions. Remember?
No.
Yeah. 2B is insanely popular in that circle. Yes.
But yes,
uh,
it's one of the
Tekken,
first questions they ask, of course. Is it Rule
I do love
34?
I do love Tekken, Soul Calibur, Midnight Club, Black Ops 3. I'm more of a Black Ops 1 and 2 fan.
I did like Black Ops 3 on the campaign. I did enjoy the campaign.
No. Is that the one that has the frozen forest?
Yes. I liked
That
campaign.
campaign made no fucking sense.
Yeah, it was a mindfuck, but it was kind of cool.
I played the entire thing multiple times trying to figure it out.
I think they were on some shit when they made that game. I think that's what happened. I mean, there's a lot of things that don't make sense. I mean, think about like Super Mario, right? The dude goes down pipes. It's like, all right, he's a plumber. That's cool. But he eats mushrooms and gets bigger. It's like, dude, yeah. They were on some shit when they made this stuff.
I definitely see what you're saying, man. Halo 3, yes, great game. I remember the anticipated release when I was in middle school. I remember it was Halo 3, I believe, is the biggest launch in Halo history.
My favorite was Halo 2.
It was that Halo 2 was great too. Like I had the limited edition of Halo 2.
Mm-hmm.
It was all silver. Like it was like a
Yeah, I have it.
Oh, you had it? But Halo 3 was literally the biggest launch. Like everybody was so hyped. Wow. Like even the teachers were hyped. I'm like, what? Metal Gear Solid 3. Yes, great game.
Yeah, it's probably like one of the best ones in the series for sure.
Yeah. No,
Street Fighter 5.
The best one.
That was a good game. Street Fighter 5. You know, even though I got my ass whooped half the time. Battletoads, yes, that's good. Half-Life and Doom 2.
Half-Life 3 still hasn't come out, right?
Yeah, I was just about to say that.
It's confirmed every day, but it never comes out.
Half-Life 3 memes have been made for like
at
least 13 years.
The day that game comes out, man.
Honestly, I think that like Half-Life Alyx is just fine. Like I think that they'll make Half-Life Alyx 2 before they make Half-Life 3.
Yeah.
I'm assuming Gaiden. You talking about Ninja Gaiden?
Mm-hmm.
What y'all know about Ninja Gaiden? Oh, what y'all know about Ninja Gaiden? Come on, bro. What y'all know about Ninja Gaiden? That game I beat so many times. I can't even.
There's a fun fact about that. I think the main character is Ryu Hayabusa, right? In Halo 3, there's an armor that was made as an Easter egg based on that, and they integrated into lore. The Hayabusa armor, the one where you have the sword on your back, that's based on Ninja Gaiden.
What? No way. With the dragon sword?
Well, it's not a dragon sword. It's just a katana on the back of the Halo armor.
I'm going to assume it's the dragon sword. I'm going to assume that.
Okay.
It makes it better, okay?
Put it in the head cannon. Yeah.
Head cannon. No, not arcade. No, not arcade. Ninja Gaiden was a game that you can play on regular Xbox.
No, Ninja Gaiden was actually
no, it is arcade. I know it was arcade, but the Ninja Gaiden I'm talking about, you can play on the regular Xbox, like actual.
You're probably talking Ninja Gaiden Sigma.
Sure.
Oh man, Feral Ravage is hilarious.
Are you talking about the first bosses with the nunchucks?
Like first level is in the village, and then the first boss, like after you finally beat him, you find out it's just tutorial. I forget whether or not it was nunchucks. It's been like well over a decade. Yeah,
I played the game like 6 months ago, so yeah, it definitely nunchucks then. Yes, it was a good arcade game, yeah, but I'm talking about the actual good shit. All right, fuck the arcade game. I'm talking about some actual action. Do. All right, I guess nobody. Grand Theft Auto 5. See, I'm still mad that there's no Grand Theft Auto 6. 'Cause I remember senior year in high school, the game came out.
They're milking it for fucking online. That's why they haven't made it.
Yeah, I've been waiting for a new game for 8 years now. Was it like almost 9?
Yeah.
8, 9 years?
Yeah.
Well, how long did Red Dead Redemption 2 take to come out after RDR 1?
Red Dead Redemption 2, man. Yeah, that was a good game.
8 years? No. Was it 8 years? I think it was 8 years.
There's a long bloody dev cycle.
Yeah,
like-
2010.
It was worth
and
the
how
wait,
long
though.
was it between 4 and 5 for that matter?
Well, the fourth one came out in 2008.
2007 or 8. Yeah, so it was 5 years later.
Yeah.
Like,
I wonder
and
what the new.
considering
Do you believe that the new GTA 6 is going to be woke?
I don't think Rockstar is the kind of company that Rockstar I kind of look at like is like the South Park of video game developers. Like they kind of shit on things, at least from what I've always experienced. But I mean, hey, listen, they might cave in for some extra cash. They might, but I've never known them to be like that.
here's the thing. I think we can here's kind of the first litmus test. Do you think that GTA 6 is going to have a female protagonist?
To be honest, I wouldn't even care if it did.
I think it'll be a three-person team again.
And I wouldn't care if one of them was a chick. Like I really wouldn't care.
But the biggest thing is, are they going to make it all chicks?
Like the female Ghostbusters of GTA.
Yeah.
And then it just totally bombs.
But in all seriousness, I predict it will be two guys and one girl. I predict.
Yeah, that's probably how I would make it if I were to include a female character, just to kind of like dip the toe in the water, see how people react to it. And if people like it, then it's like, all right, maybe that's not off the table in the future. But if people don't like it, it's like, all right, we tried it.
But how will the
But you see, that's the thing. Like, you can't just be like, oh well, maybe I'll throw in the character. Like, no, you got to write the entire.
No, you write the whole
story.
character. You do it correct, right? And then people either like it or they don't like it. So a well-written character can sometimes be loathed. It just depends.
But how are they going to implement the female character? Because they can't. She could, but how is she going to be running around with the guys like that? Like, make it believable or make sense.
I mean, I probably would have like stealth segments in the game, and I'd probably have her in like the stealth segments, stay out of sight, sneak, that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
that would make sense. Like, what if like you need like a smaller body to like sneak through the vents or something? Like, there's things that there's types of gameplay just to kind of like mix it up.
But that's the thing. Like, when you look at GTA 5, which was the first GTA to have multiple protagonists operated simultaneously,
right?
Like, mechanically, they're identical.
Right. So,
well, okay, aside from some like minor stuff with the driving and whatnot, but you didn't have any like, oh, one character can go somewhere that the other ones can't.
Right.
They all played identically.
Yeah,
so
no, I just meant
like
in terms of the missions, in terms of the sandbox, yeah, it's going to be the same shit no matter who you play as. Yeah.
That's the thing, but like,
now if you want to talk about believability and all this shit, yeah, you'll have to suspend disbelief. Yeah, of course.
But at the same time, it is a video game, so
that's kind of how I look at it. It's just a video game. You know what I mean?
No,
like,
but
whatever.
the video game also has.
I completely. I'm going to make biggest argument. Just a video game. Metroid Other M.
I do like Metroid. In particular, the Prime trilogy.
That's the thing. But like, are you familiar with Metroid Other M?
I have watched a playthrough of it, and it was okay. It was okay.
Yeah, I don't know who that is.
So basically, the main character is Samus Aran. So she's a female bounty hunter.
Oh, my bad. I know about the female bounty hunter, but
Other M is kind of like it's like a 2D, 3D hybrid type game, like side scroller type deal. And I think like the part where there's like some character development where like you actually get to hear Samus's voice. She reflects on her past and all this shit. And yeah, people have their opinions on that versus the traditional silent type.
Look, that's the thing. It's not even that it was the first time that she'd had. Well, it's the first time she'd had an audible voice, but her characterization in that game was wildly out of character with everything done prior, established through games.
I've always seen Samus as the strong silent type. Yeah, she it kind
Not
of
just the strong silent type. If you played Metroid Fusion, and
Right.
you'd like gotten a better insight into like the dialogue aspect. But like, let me put it this way: think about like all the conflicts with Ridley.
right.
In what other game did Samus ever freeze up and have a panic attack?
She never did.
But she did in Other M.
Yeah. So again, I would also be curious, like, who the writers were on the game and what types of games they've worked on before, and like, you can kind of
Ironically,
see.
it was the same. Ironically, it was the same writer as Metroid Fusion, and
Interesting.
same developer for Metroid 3. So
Wow.
yeah, no, like very, very disappointing. For
I guess the drugs wore off, huh?
something happened in the development process,
Yeah.
but I think it kind of was a George Lucas thing where, like, he had like in like the original trilogy for Star Wars, Lucas's writing was kept in check because he wasn't like the George Lucas, the big name hotshot.
Mm-hmm.
And then like you had him go hog wild with the dialogue, and you get the "I don't like sand" line.
But
Yeah.
hey, Pete, what do you have to say to the Warband when it comes to the topic today? Because this was a very important topic to talk about.
Well, it's one of those things you can't control, so keep doing what you're doing. Like I said, it's always just information. You decide what you want to do with it, and listen, if other people want to, call you an incel for it, like, let it roll right off. Like, because you and I both know it's bullshit. It has no meaning. It's just a word to get a reaction out of you when they're using it. So just fuck them. That's kind of my take on it. It's like, just stick to your guns and focus on your mission, and that's it. That's always been the core message.
I definitely agree on that one, Pete. It's just you do you and fuck how they feel.
I mean, what else are you gonna do? You're gonna stop making content? No, you're gonna keep going. That's it.
That is true. I'll give you that one. Like, oh, you said something bad about me. I quit YouTube forever.
Right.
Gray, what do you have to say to the Warband about the topic today that we talked about?
I was trying to figure out how to summarize it, but I'm
It's all
still
good.
I'm still in disagreement because, like, you say the word doesn't matter. It's like,
Wait,
because what
disagreement?
I'm seeing and what I'm having problems with is that the incel community formed to begin with, which means that a bunch of guys got together and decided that their unifying characteristic was going to be their inability to get laid.
No, I was just saying the definition. I didn't say anything about community.
Definition, like when the community formed, the definition changed.
That I don't disagree with.
And that's the problem. As it expands, these people who they want a community, they're going to expand the definition of incel wider and wider and wider to include more people under the banner of this slur.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. That's inevitable.
Yeah, ideas are going to evolve. Like, it is what it is, right? Now that we got Sleepy Joe trying to take our guns, similar to what Trudeau is trying to do.
So here's this is my personal thing. Free to disagree with the word, but I say absolutely reject the label of incel. Don't accept any definition but the literal one of involuntary celibate. Even if it could be a well-meaning one was like, well, no, that's not what Well, no, that's not what it means. It means that
Well, yeah, I mean, at the end of the
various other
day,
things.
you either tried and failed repeatedly, and the results reflect that you actually are one, or they don't, irrespective of whether
No,
they
that's the
got the
thing.
label
Even
or
the
not.
ones who tried and failed, they probably still have some standards.
Yeah, there's actually a funny meme about that. It's called Volcel if you wouldn't.
But that's the thing.
Yeah.
If you can think of a single woman out there that you'd be like, you know what? No, I wouldn't fuck that, even if it was free. Congratulations,
True.
you're not an incel.
The
You
difference
have
is though,
standards.
the difference is
Reject
though
the
that
label.
somebody would. I can tell you from personal experience, I've seen a 1 out of 10 chick. All right. She looked like one of those troll dolls and she was purchasing a pregnancy test. And I'm looking at it like, who the fuck did that?
But that's
So,
the thing.
all right.
That's the thing. Like, I say reject the label of incel wholeheartedly. Don't hold on to it. Don't give any legitimacy.
I
No
agree.
legitimacy to the term whatsoever, because literally, yes, there's a woman out there who will fuck you. You
Yeah.
just don't want to fuck her.
There's only a
I think for
few.
normies that's true. Yeah. I
There's
think for
only a
normies
select
that's true.
few that are truly voluntary celibate, so I agree.
Look, you'd got to be like a sub 3
Yeah.
at the very least. And even then, there's still cash.
Well,
Yeah.
in a sense of, like I told Pete before, there are people, once again, very, 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 very small percentage where they truly do not have no choice.
But
but to
that's the
be-
thing. Are those the people who are using it by and large? No. Is that
No.
what's going to be called?
No,
So I
they
say
don't
no.
have a choice.
Don't give any legitimacy. And if someone who is not a fucking 0.5 out of 10 calls themselves an incel, say they're full of shit and move on. Don't give that fucking legitimacy, because that gives society's definition fucking legitimacy.
I agree. Like I told Pete before, there's literally people out there where they're literally missing limbs or all that crazy shit, or has some they were dealt the horrible cards of the genetic lottery, where they literally have no choice, like
Yeah.
0% chance or 0.00001% chance that they're going to get laid.
Yeah.
That okay, they are actually involuntary celibate.
Yep.
That I agree, but it is a very small percentage.
Correct. Which means there's a lot of people out there that are adopting the label when it's like, nah, bro, like you're not even close. But again, that's their choice. And if they want to do that, that's fine. They're only doing a disservice to themselves.
No, they are not doing just a disservice to themselves. They're doing a disservice to literally every other man who gets labeled an incel, because they are giving that legitimacy.
Yeah, but they could just come up with another term and then another term and then another term. So yeah, what I'm saying is, like, if incel is the current hip lingo that feminists want to use to insult us, again, even if you were to deny it and just say like, well, incels, stop calling yourself that. Okay, fine. Now we're just men who don't get laid. Okay, fine, whatever. The point is they'll just come up with something else, because that's what people who do ad hominems do. They find the thing that you're uncomfortable with, they target it, and they use it to derail your argument so that they can focus on you. And basically, if you give them a reaction, in their mind, your idea is now invalid. And they're always going to find that button to push. This is just the current button.
But hey,
Yeah. But then what happens is they go like, well, this guy self-identifies as an incel, so we'll use him as a representative and get him on the mainstream media. That only happens because that guy is willing to go out there and say, yes, I'm an incel. Look at me, I'm normal, I'm average.
Yeah, the
Here,
fat
let me
fuck
talk to
with
you.
the yellow jacket. Yeah, that went on that YouTube show. I can send it to you after the stream. That he literally identifies himself as an incel, and he has a horrible representation of what an incel is. He literally hates women, and that does a disservice to everybody else that that's unable to.
Yeah. Hatred only brings more misery.
Right, like that dude did not even hide it. I'm like, bro, you're not an insult. You just fucking hate women. Like the fuck? Like, not once did the Warband or any other group that I associate with clearly state that they hated women. No, we only point out their bullshit. That's it. Once again, right? And this is the closest analogy I can get to. I'm not gonna hate a dog for being a dog. So why would I hate a woman for practicing her nature? That makes no sense. I'm not going to hate her
That's
for
the
it.
thing. But I reject the idea of, well, just surrender the word because they'll figure something. I was like, no, make them work for it. Don't just roll over and let them have every single word because, oh, they just figure something else out later. No, make them fucking work. Make them fucking fight. Make them try. Because these people are lazy and they're not going to.
You realize you're probably not going to get your way on this, though, right?
Oh, absolutely not. But I figure I may as well say my 2 cents here.
Fair enough.
Well, might as well, yeah. Hell yeah. Like, once again, because how else, like, that guy Pete, you already know. And Gray, you already know as well. We aren't able to talk about something like this anywhere else because we will get canceled to oblivion if he talked about this in public. It's not going to be pretty because unfortunately these crazy radical liberals have all the power.
Yeah,
that's the thing. But like, quite frankly, if it was like, well, I'm not going to win, so what's the point in trying? Like, I think that the very fact that we're here talking about this stuff, whereas acknowledging that society is not going to change on the macro scale because of this, it's just kind of in our nature to fight back, even though we're not going to win the big battle. Might win small battles. Maybe there's one person here who will reject the idea of incel, and that'll be one drop in the bucket.
A societal collapse is what is going to truly shake things up. That's the only way.
Correct. Basically bringing us to a survival situation which forces their hand, and now they have to rely on us.
And Ukraine is a perfect example. Right? What happened when they...
Although you know what? Maybe Russia invaded the U.S. would be some way for the U.S. government to support its own people.
Hey, if they want to go to war so bad, hey, go for it. You want to be equal to men so bad? Why do I have to go in and fight? You go fight, right? All that feminism that was happening in Ukraine, it disappeared in an instant when Russia invaded Ukraine. All of a sudden, the men had to go in. Not the men had to go in, but the men were forced to fight and die.
Yeah, but like,
escape to all these other countries and be on multiple dating apps trying to fuck on another dude. Your body isn't even cold in the ground, and she's already riding on the carousel with 5 different dudes.
That's yeah, but and on the other hand, that's way like all these U.S. places would actually get some foreign aid rather than handing out a couple billion. They'd actually get a couple billion.
That is definitely true. I definitely agree with that. But in the end, that's why I don't. Ukraine is a perfect example of why I don't take feminism seriously. I don't. Well, whatsoever. 0.00% chance I will ever take feminism seriously.
Correct, because it's the fact that the men that they see as utilities exist. They still show up for work at the military that keeps all the horrifying elements of humanity at bay. It's because men created this soft, cushy place that you have the luxury to hate the very people that keep you safe.
Like, why? I want to make a video, which I probably will in the future, with Jack Nicholson, where he was playing the Colonel. And what movie was that? Fuck, what movie? It was with Tom Cruise. Tom Cruise was
A
a
Few
lawyer.
Good Men.
Yes, I really want to use that clip with Jack Nicholson of saying like, hey, like I don't
handle
want
the truth.
I can't handle the truth, and I don't want people that will ride on the freedom that I provide them and then question on how I provided the freedom in the first place.
Well, again, exactly. Once you're protected and safety is no longer an issue, then they have the luxury to be an entitled brat about it. Correct.
Exactly, which is why I'm like, yo, I'm
But
like,
again, yeah, but once safety becomes an issue again, aka Ukraine, just see what happens. It's like, yeah, there it is.
there it is. And the men were not even allowed to leave. They weren't even allowed to leave. I'm like, bro, how would you know that that situation won't happen in the US?
Yep. And
If
here's the thing. Yes, if things go bad, these women will watch your back, but only up to the point until security is reestablished again. And once it's reestablished again, I'm not saying it's guaranteed, but they'll probably stop watching your back and abandon you and go right back to the feminist narrative like it's nothing. Yeah.
Yep, which is why I definitely agree with my grandpa when he says, "Hey, when it comes to dealing with these females, you need to put your foot on their neck because they really don't. If you give them an inch, they'll take a mile." And how you say, how do I explain it? How do I wait? Give me a second. How do I explain it?
I think I can summarize it quite simply. The age
Oh.
at which a mother stops beating her child is the age in which he can hit back.
Is that I definitely agree. I agree 1,000,000% because when you give women all this leeway, all this crazy stuff, they just go fucking nuts. Like I should have listened to Hammerhand and all these other OGs channels
Right.
when it comes to hey, like grown women, they're not that different from children because they both right. Women
Right.
and children, they both base their decisions on feelings.
Right.
Both.
But you also have to remember though that again, this is why again I always talk about respect, admiration, and desire. These things are so important to have. No, it's not the love that men can offer, but I think for men it's close enough. So if you're gonna entertain the idea of dealing with a woman, I mean like if she's treating you like that and she's pushing your buttons and pushing us like again, the respect's not there, the admiration's not there, the desire's not there. So like what the fuck are you doing? And I think kind of like if we're looking at it more in a macro sense in society, again, what Ukraine demonstrates is that they stopped giving a shit about us a long time ago. And then when shit hits the fan, it's like you still expect me to care. And it's like, wow.
I don't give a fuck.
It's like that. Okay.
Literally,
And you're
it's
telling
like
me
that.
the government's gonna kill me if I don't do this. Oh, it's like that. Okay.
You're gonna have to carry my cold dead body at that point. But what
Yeah.
I was trying to say, which I like, Gray, he explained. Um, Women only submit to power. I repeat, women only submit to power. You got that, chat?
Yeah.
That's
But I just
literally.
want to make one caveat there.
Whoa. Okay.
It doesn't mean like, be an abusive piece of shit. Like,
No, no, no,
because like a
no.
lot of people will try to spin it like that. Like, oh, you're saying be abusive and all this stuff. It's like, no, just as a man, you have to conduct yourself in such a way, such as holding her accountable when she does stupid shit, so that she's like, okay, this guy doesn't fuck around. He's worthy of respect. You just kind of have to get that to register in her head. And the interesting part about all of it is you just have to do what men naturally do. Like that's all you have to do really at the end of the day. So it's just a matter of men en masse kind of rediscovering that, kind of having a masculine renaissance, if you want to call it that. And kind
I
of
agree
Well,
go back
because
to that. Yeah.
when it comes
well,
to that situation, I say all the time. I say all the time, you know, and I think I explained it earlier in the stream. Like literally, women are just as grimy or worse than everybody else. I don't know why you're trying to treat her like this perfect goddess. No, she's human. She's perfectly normal like you and me, and she has the same insecurities, the same issues as everybody else, and probably worse. All right, you need to put your foot down as a man, establish that dominance. If she wants to deal with you, that's cool. If she doesn't, move on. Don't entertain it. Just go the other way because once again, when if you treat her like a celebrity, she'll treat you like a fan. There's too many videos out there that proves my point. Okay,
Mhm.
Never, ever, ever give her the attention that she does not deserve. But well, what did you say, Gray?
The other thing is like in the modern day, I think that you can act. I think it's actually impossible in the modern day for a man to expect respect and adoration in a relationship because you're always going to be the weaker man relative to the tech giants, like the business oligarchs, the government. You're never going to be number one, and she doesn't care about number two.
Right, but at the end of the day, what I'm saying is, with these types of things, like if you're a guy and you're listening to this and you're thinking like, hey, maybe I would want to just like kind of like dip my toes in the water on dating. It's just a simple line, right? Like if these types of things like are not present, that's when you make your exit, right? That's pretty much it. When you go into it, you got to be willing to accept the fact that there's a possibility you might have to leave her at some point.
No, I don't think that I think that's not far enough. I think you have to accept it's temporary. She's going to lose respect for you eventually unless you go to prison and commit horrible acts. So be prepared to leave.
Perhaps
from
for the hybristophiliac,
begins.
yes.
Yeah, because in my opinion, right, she gives the broke Pookie, Ray Ray, Chad Tyrone, all the submissiveness in the world.
Correct.
But yet the richest man in the world can't even keep their woman.
It's a certain type of psychological profile that's drawn to that type of dude. Usually a damaged one.
Well,
what woman in this day and age isn't damaged?
That's majority of women.
I mean, yeah, you get some FOMO here and there as well, sure. But again,
no, I definitely will say it's majority of women that's attracted to those guys.
I mean, I haven't experienced enough women where I can tell you. I mean, I've heard plenty of stories.
Well, in a sense of statistically speaking, the Black community has one of the highest single mother rate out of all races.
That's true.
And when it comes to the Black men, we have the highest percentage of men that are childless. So, based on what I'm saying, majority of women are sharing a very small.
I would say it's enough that it's becoming a problem and the trend is going in the wrong direction.
It's a gigantic problem in the Black community. It's no joke right now. It is a huge problem that they're attracted to Pookie and Ray Ray, but they like to clown, good, well-mannered Black men that are actually going to college, trying to do something in their lives. They demonize those type of men, saying that they're nerds, they're this, they're that. You're trying to speak white. You're a you're a.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about, right? So the fact that we have the highest percentage of baby mamas, but we have the lowest percentage of Black men, not the lowest, the highest percentage of Black men that are childish. Statistically speaking, majority of Black women are sharing the very few Pookie and Ray Rays that are very violent, very aggressive.
True, but just remember that's just one culture.
Well, I'm just saying. Yeah. I don't know about other cultures, but I'll just speak on behalf of the Black community.
Yeah,
like that kind of behavior correlates to single motherhood.
No. I don't want to hear that. Not all women bullshit. I don't want to hear.
I'll keep it 100. I'll keep it 100 for you. I think all women have the same wiring. All women are like that in that regard. But I think a more accurate way to say it is Ewalt, which is like enough women are like that it's a problem. Because if it wasn't a fucking problem, we wouldn't be talking about it. So obviously it's a problem. And it's like, okay, you're either part of the problem or you're part of the solution. And that's it. There's nothing gray about that. So it's like, hey, if chicks are watching and they're like, yeah, I want to be part of the solution. It's like, that's cool. You're probably going to face a lot of suspicion. It just kind of comes with the territory. But, it's like anything else. You prove yourself and that's it if you want to be part of the solution. But, I'd say probably maybe I have a bit more of an open mind on this. Perhaps maybe I'm a little too optimistic. But, hey, I try to see the silver lining.
I understand, Pete. I understand that you're being optimistic about it. I don't blame you whatsoever. I don't blame you at all.
It's a function of my upbringing, what I grew up under.
It's all good, man. But at least with my experience, right? Because I've been around the world.
Mhm.
When it comes to women, I really do believe all of them are like that. The only difference is the culture, the religion, and the laws of that region
How
that
the nature
changes it.
got tamed. Correct.
Yes.
Yes.
So that's uh where my line is, right? Like I really do believe if they have the opportunity to take advantage of you like they do in the West, they will do in a heartbeat, right? That's why when men they marry women overseas and bring it back to the United States, they switch up just like that when they get indoctrinated in that feminism bullshit.
Yeah. I just kind of have the mindset if you could think it, it probably exists. There's like all these different things happening at the same time, and then you get a bunch of people in the room that have different experiences, and then that's why we kind of have these conflicting ideas. So I kind of just subscribe to the idea it's all happening at the same time. But at the core, what you're talking about, there's enough of that going on that it's a problem. Yeah.
Yeah, hey, see, I'm not okay. I'm not saying there aren't good women out there. Okay, I am guaranteed that there's good women out there, but at the same time, there's so few good women out there. They're scooped up immediately. They're nowhere to be found. Yeah,
Well,
if you get
yeah.
if you
Yeah,
get them,
because a lot of them are college educated now, and then the college education tells them, what they want to hear. Like I was
but
reading,
but but,
yeah.
but Pete, what I'm saying is, women that are virgins, women that are young, women that are feminine, women that are willing to be able to be take relationship seriously. Those type of women,
Mhm.
There so very few out there. They're scooped up immediately by probably,
Well, yeah, the saying goes, good catches get caught.
the best guys out there.
Good catches
Yeah.
get caught, and I think the older I get as a man, then yeah, I guess the more that diminishes for sure. Because I don't know, man. I think Zoomers are a mixed bag. I always say that millennials
Well,
are finished. Like my generation's done. It's
I'm the
over.
youngest millennial, just to let you know.
Yeah,
there's one more
yeah.
aspect to it as well. Like, women don't get better with age; they get worse, and in behavior as well. Like they can ruin themselves early, but just
Mhm.
because they're acting nice in their 20s and early 30s doesn't mean they're going to act nice into their 40s and 50s.
Yeah,
A good woman
it's a
today can be
crapshoot.
tomorrow's bad woman.
Life's a crapshoot, man. Life is filled with risks, and and as a risk averse person, I tend to share your view. Like, hey, I don't think the juice is worth the squeeze, but hey, there's a lot of adrenaline junkies out there that like to take risks. That's life.
Risk or
Oh, but
calculated risk?
this is more the argument for the not all women is like not all women have had the opportunity yet. Until they're dead and buried and you can analyze their life in its entirety, you can't say that that's a good woman. Just that's a woman who hasn't done too bad a thing yet.
What would you say to a woman who argues the same thing about men? That hey, until he's dead in the grave, just playing devil's advocate here. What would you say to
That's
that
on
person?
her because it's too easy for her to go
I'd be like,
around.
hey, when men are the one going around ruining women's lives en masse, then I'll give a shit.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
women going
I mean,
around.
perhaps the only people they can really hold it against are the Pookies and the Ray Rays. And it's like, well, yeah, there's no sign of the Pookies and Ray Rays slowing down either. So it's like,
Because they don't give a fuck about the
because
average
they don't
man,
give a
right?
shit either. Yeah, I guess
Yeah, well,
like
guess what? Pookie and Ray Ray didn't force you to spread your legs.
that's
You
Bingo.
true.
chose Pookie and Ray Ray.
That's true. That's true.
Like if a guy goes around and is like, oh, all I go are freaking tatted up women with a triple body count, obvious daddy issues, and a shit ton of tattoos that cut their hair every 2 weeks.
Right.
It's like, yeah, you're looking for the wrong thing if you want a stable relationship.
We would hold those men accountable. That's true.
Because that's the thing. We already acknowledge, like, dude, you're fucking up. You're making stupid decisions. We
But all of a
already
sudden,
hold these men accountable.
yeah.
And the only time that we have to say not all men is when, like, they're talking about all these men are trash, but they're only talking about the tiniest percentage. Whereas with these women, we're not talking about 10% of women are thankless divorcing harlots. Like, no, statistically, we
Half.
found it to be the majority. Wait, that's the thing. like half of them are divorcing currently, including all the previous ones, but that's not counting all the ones that make their husbands' lives miserable, where the husbands have just accepted that they're being cucked.
That's probably like
the divorce isn't worth.
That's probably like another 35%. Yeah.
So that's the thing. We're talking if there's good women at a generous amount of women that
hold up.
Yeah.
Channel. Thank you very much for this very generous donation. All right. 50 New Zealand dollars. You know what? I want to get a physical New Zealand dollars. Not gonna lie. I've never had that type of money. I wanna acquire that. But besides that, Warband property. Likes up, brothers. Love to you all. Thank you, Yeet brother. Pete. Good collab with
Stardust.
I was about to say, who's ST? Stardust.
You see in double vision, you see STD.
No, I just see SD. I'm like, who the fuck is STD? Oh, but Channel, thank you very much for your donation, man. Like I definitely appreciate it. All the super chats are good to go. And before I continue, if you guys want to support the Warband, you guys can donate to PayPal.me/Yeetus, or you can just super chat or just super thanks, whatever it is. Any donations are appreciated right now. You guys are being too generous to me today. As long as you're here listening to what we have to say, which pretty much all 96 of you guys are listening. That's all that matters. And I'm going to click on Mr. Pliskin. What's going on, man? Mr. Pliskin? Chat is base as fuck. See, I haven't been paying attention to the chat the entire time, so hopefully you guys aren't talking about weird shit.
It's pretty based.
Oh, it's pretty based? Okay. All right. I'm gonna check it out in a bit. But Mr. Pliskin, thank you for the $20 donation. It is very legit. Once again, I got everything good to go with Google. All right, they're not fuck with me no more. So I'm willing to let all the super chats and all that shit good to go. I'm not gonna spam the PayPal or Cash App anymore like that. You guys can just donate right here, and I'll definitely pay attention to you guys' donations or questions. Because once again, the grind doesn't stop for the Warband. Who was talking last? Because I completely forgot.
That would be me. So, yeah, in summary, when men have to say not all women, they are countering women, accusing all men of doing what the minority of men do.
Mm-hmm.
Meanwhile, when women say not all women, they're lucky if they're even talking about a double-digit percentage, if not a single-digit percentage.
True. And also, if a woman is going to say not all women, she probably would have a better case if she herself fits the bill.
Like, look, if 90% of men were giving women black eyes, men would not be able to say not all men without getting beaten the fuck down.
I think we'd be actively stepping in to try to stop them. I would think.
Like that's the thing. But like,
these other girls, fuck out of here.
But like if women were getting beaten up by 9 out of 10 men,
yeah,
then if they said all men are trash,
as she's holding not all men, as she's holding the fucking ice pack on her eye, like, yeah, well, it doesn't feel like it.
Like that's the thing.
Yeah,
but that's not the case.
I get what you're saying.
1 to 2 out of 10 men at most, if not an even smaller percentage, doing that.
Mm-hmm. And
100% of men are to take the blame for this woman having a bad experience of her own choice, which she fucking knew was coming. She didn't pick a guy who was fucking soft and sweet. She ditched that guy for the guy who beat the shit out of her.
Yeah, that says more about her, for sure.
And that's the majority of women.
You're saying the majority of women would pick a guy that physically abuses her?
Absolutely. A woman will absolutely stick with and defend the relationship of a guy who abuses her over a guy who cares for her.
That's a bold claim, but okay.
I think Machiavelli said it best. If you have to choose between being feared and loved, it is better to be feared because people will betray those that they love before they betray those that they fear.
Perhaps
All right,
my upbringing makes me wear rose-colored goggles. Perhaps.
Well, Pete, what's your rebuttal to that then?
I
If
mean,
you have one.
yeah, there's some pieces of shit in the world, and there are people who like pieces of shit, but I'd like to think that most people don't like being treated like shit. But hey, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm under
What
a rock.
about the impression of something like? Because once again, it's the bad boy, right? Where he does what he wants, wherever he wants, how he wants it. Just that type of unpredictability.
Oh yeah,
And keep in mind, Pete, I'm not talking about people. I'm talking about women. And
Yeah.
you are a man who does not share a woman's physical brain or genetic patterns or hormones. So
I was
you can't
talking
really
about
use your own psychology as a reference.
that's fine, but I was talking about men. I was just saying, okay, let me be more specific then. All right, when it comes to men, okay, women, they tend to gravitate towards men that has that type of unpredictability, that type of, I'm gonna do whatever I want, how I want it doesn't matter. If you don't like it, too bad.
True.
And
I guess what I was getting at was that it doesn't necessarily have to be an abusive guy. It just has to be someone who's on their toes. Yeah.
No, it doesn't. Yeah, but when it comes to that type of guy where it's like, if you don't like, it's my way or the highway type of attitude. That type of attitude, at least throughout human history, is the one that tends to have
they're receptive to that.
Yeah, they have the highest probability of survival.
True, but I'm saying you could have that attitude as a man and simultaneously not be a bad person that does morally bad things. That's all.
No. You don't have to be a bad person to just be like, I'm gonna do what I want type shit.
Yeah, like I would consider us decent folk, right? And it's like, okay, if we brought that energy where it's like, hey, like, listen, I'm control, I steer the ship here, and it's like, look, it is what it is, I guess I just misunderstood. I think, like, yes, will they choose the guy that's more inclined to take initiative and all that 9 times out of 10, barring like the weird one that's kind of the outlier. Yeah, sure. I just kind of thought like, oh, the guy that will beat the shit out of her, like, you're going to choose that? I mean, I guess some of them would. Yeah, because, maybe they had a bad, upbringing or something, but,
Or a fetish.
I don't know. Or a fetish, yes. I mean, listen, there's a lot of good people out there, but there's a lot of fucked up people out there too. It's a mixed bag.
There's plenty of fucked up people out there.
The human condition is a mixed bag. No doubt about that.
But the big thing is, overall, across the board, women will gravitate more towards guys that
are unpredictable.
Unpredictable, and is pretty much the I'm gonna do what I want type of attitude, right? Like how do I say a leadership position?
Here, let me give you a statistic. 50 Shades of Grey is the best-selling book amongst all female age groups.
Right.
50 Shades of Grey. Is that a kind, loving, decent protagonist?
No.
No. So you have women like abusive pieces of shit.
What was he again? Billionaire, businessman, BDSM type shit.
You also have to factor in that as well. Yeah, like I said, there's people that are into that shit.
Yeah, okay,
they like the fantasy.
That's their public stuff.
They like the fantasy. They don't like probably to actually be.
There is a difference. Yeah,
they want the excitement and adrenaline that comes with the fantasy. That's what they want. They don't want you to like, hey, I'm gonna smash your head into the cupboard drawer. I love you, baby. Boom, boom, boom. It's like no, they don't want that.
It's like Bill Burr.
Can you say for sure they don't?
I will say for sure, no, they do not.
Because I can say for sure that there's a good chunk that do.
They don't want that to actually happen, but the thought or the unpredictability of
you want the unpredictability, but the safety is still taken care of.
Yeah, they'll put up with the lack of safety in exchange for the emotional roller coaster.
Depends
those
on the
are
person's
also-
The
tolerance
abuse
for
is
it.
not always a deal breaker.
Well, those are also fucked up women as well. Then
correct.
Hey, but how do you separate what portion of the population is fucked up?
The only
Well,
way to do that is
I
to deal
can't.
with
But
them.
what I'm saying is, I do understand there's a huge difference of actually getting beat the fuck out of or having that type of
Role-playing shit,
fantasy,
yeah.
the fetish, the ideal of listen that this man is violent, this man is unpredictable, this man is this and that. But
Yeetus, have you ever met
but-
a woman who made an excuse for her abuser?
so I have, but I consider her as fucked up in the head.
Yeah.
But
same.
when I'm talking about normal women,
Yeah.
they are able to have that type of distinction between
Yeah.
fantasy and reality, where
You really think that
Yeah,
most
okay.
women nowadays have a distinction between fantasy and reality?
Well,
a good
I mean,
amount of them.
well, think of it
Yes.
like this: if a woman can differentiate between when
I don't know a
feminism
woman that wants
benefits
to
her
get
and
the
when
people fucked out
patriarchy
of-
benefits her,
I don't know
which-
I don't know a woman that wants to get beat up.
yeah, I don't think they leave the house like, yeah, who's gonna fuck me up today?
But what I'm saying is the distinction, right? Fantasy.
yeah,
What's in her mind, right? Because believe it or not, in order to turn a woman on, it's mainly stimulation of the mind.
yes,
You know,
her
it's not just
imagination.
the physical act.
Yeah,
So when it comes to her knowing that, oh, there's this big, strong, burly man that that does what he wants, way he wants it, and it's my way or the highway, and he's willing to be violent against everybody else except her.
mm-hmm.
So
That's the thing. Does it have to be except her?
well, that's what she perceives. Where this
Depends
guy
how
is
fucked
a
up in
big
the head she
bad,
is.
this guy is a big bad mean man towards everybody else except her, right? I ain't talking about I'm talking about in general. She doesn't expect this big bad mean. I'm talking about woman's mind. She doesn't expect this big bad mean man to be violent towards her. Violent towards everybody else, sure. But he, at the end of the day, will treat her good. If you get what I'm talking about.
I just disagree with your percentage. That's all.
Yeah,
I think
at the
there's
end of
far more. I think that there's a large enough percentage of women
Wait,
who
percentage.
want that.
Oh, wait, I did say some percentage. Okay. Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead, Gray.
I'd say 60+% of women would take a physical abuser and defend them.
I agree. Cesspool, she wants to control the beast. I agree.
You know what the irony of that is, though, is that if she converts him from a bad boy to a good man, she gets turned off and she leaves him. So
Exactly.
she did what she wanted to do, and then she's like,
That's the thing.
I'm so dry now. I'm out.
But that's the thing with the abuser.
agree.
The instant he stops beating her, then he becomes someone that she despises and disposes of, and that's
But-
when she fucking reams into him with the full force of the police.
But I wouldn't even say beat. I wouldn't even say beating her. It's just the fact that if he comes from I'm a thug, I'm a gangster, I'm a outlaw, I'm from a biker gang or something like that. You know, I do what I want, do what I please.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but that's simply put is that the
And he
cop
becomes but
cops
he-
hold no power over him.
I didn't finish though. When he becomes a family man, right? When he decides, like, you know what? Since she wants me to do this and do that and blah, 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 she wants to complain 24/7 why I'm not this or that. All right, I'm going to become a family man now. Then she becomes turned off.
Yep.
Yeah, that's the thing. As long as there's the threat of violence, he doesn't have to beat her every single day because all he has to do is beat her once or twice.
I love how
And then
so casually he talks about it. It's like going to the gym. Yeah, you know, 3 times a week. Yeah, just get it in there. Get you set in there. Like, what the fuck, man?
Like, it happens. I'm not saying Gray's wrong, but I wouldn't say that common that she wants her man to beat her.
Yeah.
Like, No,
like-
I will have
like
to
link
that-
that shit in
that's
the bio on Tinder. I just want someone who'll go fucking UFC on me, bro. It's like, no, that's not in the bio. What are you talking about?
I'm trying to pound me if you get what I'm saying.
Bro, you need to earn this UFC belt.
Ain't like
Oh shit. Oh
no, I
man.
think I'm
That
pretty
was
sure
good
that if
times,
you
I'm
went and
sorry.
you started looking at like some fetish stuff, you'd find a lot of women are at the very least into being choked out.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, I agree. I've done it before. Well, that's what she wanted me to do. But once again,
Yeah.
that's what she
That's
that's what she
on
told
that's
me what
on
she
the
wanted
way.
to do.
That's
I don't
on the
go
way
out of-
to it.
I'm saying I don't go out of nowhere, just choke the fuck out of her.
Yeah, exactly.
No, that's definitely not cool.
Yeah.
But if she requests it, all right. Too easy.
No, but
No.
that's the thing. She requests it. Who do you think is going to turn her on? The guy who just does it, or the guy who asks permission?
True. And whether
I
or
don't-
not
I
and
don't-
whether
I
or
don't
not
ask
the
for-
permission
I don't ask for permission.
and whether or not the permission is implicit or not. It
Yeah, I don't
depends on
ask for
how
permission.
attractive she finds you.
There's no permission on me.
What a
The fuck?
mindfuck.
I'm gonna do what I want, and if she requests it, then I'm gonna do it. But I don't ask to do it. No. The fuck? That's just.
But
that's
you
just-
you had to know she was okay with it before you did it, right?
well, she has to literally let me know. Hey, I want you to do this to me.
That's permission.
But what I'm saying
What do you
is,
think is going to turn her on
she
more?
said
The
that-
guy who
was she
needed
turn-
to.
Yeah. Yeah,
You
listen,
think she's
bro.
more turned on
Wait,
by
hold on a
you
second.
who waited until
Wait,
you knew
question
she was
again?
okay with it?
Listen, I'm not risking jail because the Niagara Falls.
Yeah,
so the
I ain't
Niagara
gonna
Falls could be
fucking
at
do it
80%
at all.
capacity instead of fucking 50. Like, no. I'm
And
not
the
doing-
guy
I'm not-
who
I'm not
and the
doing
guy
that.
who doesn't give a
doing
shit
that
about
shit.
prison. But that's the thing. The guy who doesn't give a shit about prison is going to get her wetter than the guy that does.
and he still goes to prison.
Yeah.
Why?
And she still goes to prison to meet up with him to visit.
But regardless,
Like I say, like why?
is-
Like he's only going to go to prison if she files charges, and she's not
But
going to
I'm
file
gonna
charges as long as she's wet.
Once again, I'm gonna do things my way. That's the whole point. My way. I don't give a fuck what she wants.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you give a shit what the cops want.
Yeah. And what about what Big
Wait,
Bubba
wait,
wants in
what are
the
you
jail
talking
cell?
about? What are you talking about? I never said that I wanted to choke her out. I never said that. I'm gonna do what I want to do. That is not illegal. I ain't trying to choke her to death.
But that's the thing. Who do you think is going to appear more dominant? The one who cares what's legal or the one who doesn't?
She won't know. Cause I'm gonna do
I
what
think
I
she'll
want.
know. I think she'll know
How?
because
How?
because
She
the
doesn't
guy-
commit when she wants to
because
get
the guy will just do it because he wants to do it.
Yeah.
So it's borderline fetish at this point. Then a borderline fucking. Well, what's it called? What starts with the M?
Masochism.
Masochism?
Yes.
Yeah, it's straight up there at that point because ain't no fucking way in 2022 I would ever do that shit without risking jail. Because once again, whether she's turned on or not, he's going to jail. I'm not going to jail.
I'm not arguing about your morality, Yeetus. I'm
wait,
pointing
wait.
out that they are
I'm gonna
fucked
get my
up
nut
enough.
off. I'm gonna get my nut
Yeah.
off.
Can a skeleton
And
even
I'm
get his nut off?
Well, wait, hold up. Whether she likes it or not, I'm gonna get my nut off. But if she requests this for me to do it, sure, why not? But I agree with you. Yeah, hey, I guess for some weird fucking reason, some dude I know wanted to choke the shit out of her during sex. Be my fucking guest. But in the end, I would definitely not do that. Not in 2022. Hell no. I'm not saying that she won't be more turned. Yeah, I'm pretty sure she'll be more turned on. I agree. She'll be more turned on the dude doing it out of nowhere. But once again, whether she is turned on or not, I'm not going to fucking jail.
Facts.
Fuck that.
Yeah,
I don't give a
But
fuck.
but that's the thing. It's not about your mindset. It's about the mindset of the average woman. And if the average woman is more turned on by a guy who does not give a shit about the laws or the police, and you extrapolate that to the larger sense, then you get the what exactly do you qualify as a damaged woman if that's the majority?
Yeah,
the
if it gets to that point, she's gonna end up in the barrel.
Well, there's a saying that like sometimes you could be right and you have to stand alone. So even if the majority, just because it's the majority, doesn't mean they're not damaged. Doesn't mean they're not fucked up in
I
the
give
head.
2 fucks what she wants. It's about what I want. If she requests it, then I'll see if I want to do it or not.
Yeah, you can't fuck with that shit nowadays, Gray. Like,
You can't.
Yeah.
You can't.
I get what you're saying. Like, at the end of the day, man, she's gonna fucking really get with it if you just kind of do your own thing. But
I'm not giving fucking dating
thing.
tips here. I'm pointing out their preference in men is fucking sick to begin with. It's not a fucking exception.
All right, if you want, if you have a dry faucet,
Once
you're
again,
gonna want
I
to choke
know
them.
that you're not wrong. I agree with you that she's more turned on by guys that don't give a fuck.
Yeah, of course.
I agree.
Of course, that's always gonna be the thing, especially in their younger years. That's for sure.
But what about the next day? She's like, yeah, I'm a put you in prison."
When, yeah. At the end of the day, I mean, me personally, if like the girl I was dealing with was like that, like I just wouldn't be with her. Like, that's just not my type of girl. So it's like,
it's not. Hell no.
So I just wouldn't deal with that. Like, the minute like I even caught a whiff of like that type of thing, even if like 60% of the time or whatever it is, like then 60% of the time I'm gonna be like, yo, I'm out, and that's it. If I were to consider it.
She was turned on. Come on, man, don't put these cuffs on me.
Yeah, you know what's funny? Sometimes like the girls will like do some shit, right? And then like you're not about that shit, and then like her friends will be like, "Oh, come on, she's just like that, bro. What are you, gay?" And then like they shame you for not fucking going along with the stupid shit. It's like, do you know how jail works, motherfucker? It's like,
well, of course they don't, because they don't go to prison. They're women.
Correct, because
shit.
I can't make money off of them doing hard labor.
Oh man, what an interesting conversation we have today. Oh yeah. Lord, this is awesome. Greg came out of nowhere. Like he sideswiped me with this shit, but it's definitely a good topic to talk about. Definitely.
Yeah.
Like, Greg's not wrong. He's not wrong what he's saying.
No, not at all.
I was just stating that
I'm just not going to entertain it, because I think that's just insane to do that.
Right. Because easily, once again, women primarily base their decisions on emotions, and emotions change like the weather.
And she could change her mind the next morning.
Yes, she will send me to jail as soon as I can say I plead the fifth. I'm buried under prison.
I'm not encouraging any guy to go out and do this. Because there's fucking serious consequences and shit for that nowadays. Yeah. I'm pointing out that the guy who does this is more likely to have a longer relationship with her than any guy that doesn't.
Yeah. True.
Go into jail, meet the booty warrior.
Yeah. Thankfully though, men are getting smarter though. Like they're starting to realize, like, oh, if you even catch whiff of like an ex that was abusive or something, it's like, all right, steer clear, stay away from her.
I can't even, like, it's too dangerous. It is way too dangerous out here. In 20, I'm telling you, like, it's the fact that you have to be careful on how you look at a certain woman without being ridiculed, or worse comes to worse, somehow, some way, the cops get involved. That's enough reason alone.
Yeah.
Well, but once again, Gray's not wrong with what he said. He's not wrong.
No, I don't disagree.
It was just so left field. I'm like, oh shit, we're talking about this? Okay, it's cool. All right. But do you guys have anything else you wanna speak on? Anything?
No, I think I've thrown enough bombs down already.
Yeah, I think it was a good stream. We had a lot of fun. We covered what we set out to cover.
You definitely shocked me, Gray. But gentlemen, when it comes to this topic today, a society trying to deem men like us as extremists or incels or whatever it is, don't bother, don't pay attention, don't give in to that societal large gaslighting. Okay, don't give into that shit, because obviously you don't want to get to the point where if you don't want to get in trouble, you have to go back to the plantation. Do not give in. Either way, Either way, if you're gonna lose, you better lose 10 toes down. You better lose while you have your freedom, and not lose for the next 30 to 40 years with an old hag nagging you about something that she should have been doing herself. Okay. That's something that you don't want to live through. Okay. Don't listen to this incel crazy shit. It is nonsense. It is stupid. And I had to address this today because there's a lot of people right now, especially in the media, that want to address anybody that disagrees with feminism or with anything that a woman is trying to do with when it comes to empowerment or when it comes to sexual liberation. They want to be quick to call you an incel. Just because it's an insult. Not that I honestly believe they don't even know what the fuck it means. Because they are calling people that are Chad and Tyrone's all the way to the below average dude, all right? The wide spectrum. Chad and Tyrone all the way down to the below average dude. They're calling all of them incels solely because they're saying, hey, maybe there's some things with feminism that are not too fun right now. Maybe we should discuss about incel. Like, what? What? Bitch, you got 3 STDs. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? I'm just keeping it real. I'm just being honest. Like, it's just something that needs to be spoken because I already know this is going to get worse. Best believe it's going to get worse throughout social media, and best believe with every future shootings that's going to happen, they're going to try to pin it on channels like ours. Just think on that, gentlemen. Think on that. But once again, thank you guys. Anybody that decided to donate today, because right now I'm already getting new art started. Oh, it's almost done too. Oh, you guys are excited, aren't you? It's going to be pretty intense because I believe that if I'm going to be doing a live stream, which I will be doing on OBS soon, not just StreamYard, it has to be in a setting where all of us can be comfortable, not just me with all the souls of the Sims in the background. I'm just staring through, so like I'm just staring at you. I'm like, did I catch you being a simp? Like, I'm sure you don't like me sitting on the throne 24/7. So it's going to be new art, and it's going to be something that we can all enjoy. Definitely look forward to that. Pete, thank you very much for joining, man. Very good conversation today. This was very interesting, man. Very fun.
Yeah, we covered a lot of ground. It was good to be here.
Also, Gray, thank you for your input. Thank you for the conversation because it definitely got interesting near the end.
Yeah, it's pretty funny.
But this is Sir Yeetus. Oh, and expect a live stream tomorrow if I'm not too hungover because this is day 2. I'm drinking from my dead homeboys. Okay, that didn't make it back from Afghanistan. This is Sir Yeetus. Hopefully you guys had your daily dose of red pills. Hopefully you guys had a bunch of gems dropped on you today. And I am out. Peace.
Peace out, Warband.
Peace.